All right, folks, we are back with the 4th annual Rainier Classic. And before we start the Pro-Am divisions, we have quite possibly my most favorite division starting up the contest for the day. We have the Adaptive Athletes division. Now, these divisions, a bunch of young men and women who train at Dungeon Strength nearly full-time. They're there 3-4 times a week, and they're competing in the Adaptive division. This is something that Dungeon is incredibly proud to support, giving people who may not have opportunities often something to do in their spare time, something to help build their character, something to help give them attributes to compete and frankly just have a good time and be included. I'm, of course, sitting here with my partner in crime, Zach McCarley, current elite level coach and former world champion strength athlete. And right now out on the floor, we have Aaron Baker and Aaron Baker and Dante Peoples. These are athletes competing in the adaptive division, cleaning, pressing. I believe we have 95 pounds on the bar. Zach, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. And Zach, I do believe you've also done some coaching with these individuals in the adaptive class here at Dungeon. And what's it like being able to participate in that and helping these people grow as athletes?
You know, it's a lot of fun to be able to share this passion with them and to see the passion come out in these athletes. Let's say Dante is so wonderful.
He's Peoples, he's fun.
He's always so positive. And every time I see him, he just like looks at me. He's like, "Hey, Zach." I'm like, "What's up, Dante?"
Yeah, he's the most infectious happiness in the gym. It was really great to see Dante Peoples and Aaron Baker out there, competing here in the adaptive division.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun being able to share that passion with these athletes and seeing that reflected. You know, seeing the same passion that I have in them.
Right. And most people may not realize, like, having opportunities like this for most folks, I don't think, I personally have never seen this in Strongman before. Have you ever seen adaptive divisions at all in Strongman?
I have only once or twice, and I know it's becoming more and more common, but, it's something that's growing and allowing more people to experience the sport, allowing more people to participate in the sport, and allowing more people to, sharing that enjoyment.
Right.
That expression, that physical expression of competition.
And right now, we have Joey Beltran and Damon Rusher out here competing. Damon is in lane number 1, and Joey's in lane number 2. Barbell clean and press for reps for these athletes.
Very nice. So actually, Joey and I competed on the same team in the team competition last year, and he is strong. Joey's strong, man.
Joey is incredibly strong.
Yeah, very impressive strength from Joey.
And Dante's out here just grinding away. I think Dante's on rep number 5.
Damien,
I'm so sorry.
No worries,
Damien,
no worries.
Pardon me. Damien,
a lot of D names, this is all good. But Damien, both Joey and Damien are both really strong. I really like watching Damien deadlift. He's a really good deadlifter, so we're going to have a lot of fun watching him deadlift. Well, actually, no, he'll be doing squats. Is that correct tomorrow?
I don't know. I think the adaptive class will be deadlift. No, they are squatting. I think they are squatting, actually. Yeah, so, we'll see the adaptive class come out prior to every Pro-Am division throughout the whole weekend. And, again, it's an incredible opportunity for these folks to compete and express themselves.
Yeah, it's just total blast.
So I believe that is the end of our adaptive class. Now, coming up next, I'm extraordinarily excited about this because what we have is the Pro-Am middleweight division. We have 4 athletes in total. Now, all of these athletes are pro athletes in the American system. However, we have 2 current and or former world champions competing. Nadia Stowers is a 2-time 82 kilo world champion, a world's strongest woman winner. She has competed in Giants Lives. She's competed in the Arnold Pro Series and has podiumed in that open show. Nadia Stowers is one of the most decorated weight class-based athletes in the world and a former world champion. Nancy Johnson is a current world champion, current world's strongest woman in the women's 73 kilo division, a weight class that holds near and dear to my heart as I was very lucky enough to help its inauguration of it at the official Strongman Games. And Nancy is the current world champion and the 3rd woman ever to win that title.
Yeah, we have 2 more pros in that division as well. Rachel Peterson who, well, Rachel Peterson and Alicia Martin, both of which train out of Dungeon.
Yes.
Both of which are Pacific Northwest pros.
Yes.
And it's going to be
training
fun.
partners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Rachel
those two are so fun to watch. They have two of the strongest grips on the planet.
Quite literally, literally,
Mm-hmm.
one of the strongest grips in the world. Rachel is most definitely everyone's gym mom, and
Mm-hmm.
she is one of the strongest pros out there right now, especially when it comes to grip events. Rachel really just has an incredible ability with grip. Alicia also has incredible grip as well. She's a newer pro out of the gym. Alicia is the first, actually the first Puerto Rican national champion ever for man or women. She won the women's 160 national title class in 2019 through Strongman Corporation. She's also a pro middleweight woman as well, and she earned that competing at the Arnold Amateur World Title, where she took, I want to say, was it second place?
Ooh.
I think it was second.
I
Either
do
way,
not
she got a
recall.
pro card there. She podiumed, so she got
Yeah.
a pro card there. So, you know, we have a fully stacked class of incredibly proficient athletes.
Absolutely. And it's going to be exciting to watch these ladies just toss the weight around.
Right. And I just want to give a quick thank you to EPH for being one of our main sponsors. They're the nice folks who provided us with this massive hay bale truck to hang other banners on. So thank you so much to EPH for always being there for us. They've been at the Rainier since year one, and I hope they stay with us forever. So thanks again to them. Now, what's really interesting about this class in particular is that with Nancy Johnson and Nadia Stowers, we have an absolutely incredible display of overhead potential in both the exact opposite extremes of approach. Whereas Nancy Johnson is going to be a little bit more technical, relying on some classic weightlifting approach and a fantastic power dirt. And then you have Nadia, who's going to feature more of a standard, old school strongman, continental clean, and a big old push press. And she is the strongest woman in the world when it comes to overhead within her weight class. And you have Nancy coming on up a weight class, obviously just to compete and have some fun and ideally maybe even win. But we have two different approaches here. And we have a max barbell clean and press. Nadia is the first one out here. Do you happen to know what our starting weight is at?
I do not. Actually, if I recall correctly, I want to say it was 185. I believe the starting weight is 185.
Yeah,
but
that is a 20.
Nadia's going to make very light work of that. She's an incredible presser. I just, you and I were both in the UK at the Arnold and watched her press 275 overhead for repetitions.
Yes.
So we can expect to see quite a bit of weight from her today.
Yeah, Nadia has pressed 300 pounds on a log before. She's an incredible athlete. Obviously, it's a very different discipline, but, her power is there. Nancy Johnson has opted to skip, which means that Rachel Bennett Peterson is now up to the barbell at 185 pounds.
She's been working on her clean quite a bit, so let's see how this translates.
That was a great power clean. I know you happen to be coaching her on it.
Mm-hmm.
And
been working on it.
A bit of a splat jerk, a narrow stance split there. That was kind of interesting. It was almost like a Kendrick Ferris. You remember the Kendrick Ferris approach? Just looking at you for some technical cues. Smart.
Yeah, the clean was a little forward for her. She's been working on being able to pull the bar up and back. And it was just out front just a little bit on her. Caught the bar a little low. Alicia with a great full clean, great split jerk. She did a fantastic job staying under it.
So let's see here. I'm trying to pull up the starting weight for these middleweight women, and 185 is our starting weight.
Excellent. With 10-pound increases every round.
Something tells me 10 pounds may not be enough with how these ladies are when it comes to the overhead. It might actually, you see quite a few skips if I had to guess.
I would not be surprised to see that with Nadia or Nancy. Both of them big pressers.
So right now we're at 205 on the bar, which is more than a 10-pound increase. So maybe that was a last-minute change by the promoters. If that is a 20-kilo bar, which I believe it is. No, it isn't. That is a 15-kilo bar. Okay, so we are in fact at a 10-pound increase. It should be 195.
Yep. All right, Nancy's looking like she's ready.
Yeah, Nancy, I think she's skipping this. I think she's going to skip. Oh, no, she's going to go for it. Okay. Now, Nancy, I'm expecting to see a continental clean and an incredible power jerk. That's just a guess based on what I've seen her do in competitions in the past. Again, Nancy Johnson, an incredibly decorated athlete within the 73-kilo division and the middleweight division. in that she has won.
Smooth push jerk.
Yeah, a fantastic push jerk there. You know, Nancy has, when she won nationals in the 160 division, she also simultaneously won the 180 division as well.
Wow.
Yeah, Nancy is a freak athlete amongst the weight classes. You know, she's always a threat regardless of where she goes. You know, obviously now competing against the former two-time world strongest woman in Nadia. We're going to have a fantastic display of abilities here. And a bit of a sleeper in Alicia, no longer Odin, but Alicia Martin. Because Alicia, pardon me, is extraordinarily athletic. I'd go out and make the claim and say here, she probably is the best natural athlete here in terms of natural ability. You know, she's a former D1 sprinter, I believe.
Yeah, her athletic ability, as far as women are concerned, I'm not sure I've ever met a more athletic competitor in the strongman realm.
Right. Yeah, she again, that sprinting background. Right now we have Rachel Bennett Peterson out with 195 pounds. Let's see if she cleans up that power clean here.
Hips are a little high on the start.
Yeah, I was going to say her chest is over the bar maybe a little excessively, similar to that of a deadlift. She might want to opt to go to a continental if possible. So Zach, you know, as her coach, as our commentator in terms of expertise, what are you seeing there? Why do you think she failed that clean?
Well, you know, for her, she comes from more of a powerlifting style background, and one of the things that she's, you know, she's setting up more like a deadlift.
Right.
You know, and that's something that I know that she's been working on and we've been working on. And, you know, when we start with the hips that high, it really sets you up not well for the first pull.
And Martin opting for a full clean. And a fantastic split jerk. Again,
excellent
this goes
stability.
to show you the athleticism of Martin. You know, ultimately, she is, you know, not as strong as Nadia or Nancy, but I'd make the claim in being she's, you know, very technically proficient, probably more so in terms of classic weightlifting technique than those other two. So, and with that, you'll see her be able to hang longer than maybe one would assume based on just the sheer strength of Nancy and Nadia Stowers.
Absolutely, yeah. It's, you know, it's really fun and cool to be strong, but it depends on how you use it. You know, it's it's important the positions that you take, and if you're very technically efficient, that can make up a lot in the way of just raw power. All right, Nadia is getting ready for a lift here. Looks like we have 205 on the bar.
Yep, Nadia Stowers out for 205. Nadia will do a classic continental clean here. You know, she's going to push press. She's so unbelievably strong in her shoulders.
Such power out of that press.
Yeah, again, you know, this is a woman who could bench 300 pounds for reps. Like, this is an individual, you know, obviously she's a former world strongest woman. She has the qualities of the most elite, but even more so amongst those elite individuals, she is a 1%er amongst them in specifically the press. You know, she works incredibly hard on building that incredibly wide back she has. You know, her lats you can see from the next room, and her ability to press through that and then into her incredibly strong triceps. It's a beautiful display of power.
Absolutely, yeah. And her, you know, she pressed that so fast, it almost like came out front on her.
Right.
You know, it was just like it came off the shoulder so fast.
And she opts for that old school lean back approach when it comes to push pressing. You know, she's found some comfortability there and success there. Whereas, you know, you'll see Martin, for example, you know, full cleaning and split jerking, right? And you'll see Nancy do something a bit in between with the continental, but then a power jerk, right? So we're seeing three varying technical approaches here in this max barbell clean and press.
Absolutely. And, you know, this morning was a clean and press for repetitions, but now we're getting into the pros and we're concerned with weight, you know, the max weight that you can lift. And it's going to change the technique a little bit.
Right.
We're going to see, you know, movement patterns that we may not have seen earlier today.
Now, I really love Martin's split jerk.
Excellent.
She does a great job of catching the weight at its peak. You know, that's a term that's referred to as, Lucas Hatton is asking her to control the weight, just to dabble do you more. But I say let her have it. you know, a term that when catching the bar at its height is called peak asphyxiation, right? And she does a great job of catching that bar at the implement's true peak of its height, allowing her to split effectively. You know, I'm interested to see where her clean will take her as we progress, because even I would say Alicia is a little over the bar as well, a little excessively. And I think she's looking down a bit, kind of like a deadlift. So and the problem with that is as the weight starts to get heavier, in the bottom of the clean when receiving, you're already going to be tipping forward.
Yeah,
right?
it's
And that's
pull
problematic.
you forward even harder. Yeah,
Right, especially with heavy.
Yeah, when the weight's on the front of the foot like that, you can't. It causes way too much strain in that position, and your body will, you know, you'll lose your ability to maintain that position earlier.
Right. So I'm interested to see how far she can go. Right now, if my math is correct, it should be at 215. Is that right, Zach?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's a 15-kilo bar, which should be 225 normal. Yeah, we're at 215 pounds right now for the 82-kilo pro-am division. In this case, really just the pro division because there's no amateurs. So, you know, a big shout out to all these athletes for coming out here and supporting the shows. You know, it means a lot when pros like Nadia, pros like Rachel, pros like Martin, pros like Nancy travel around the world and the country in this case to compete at shows like this. And the sport doesn't grow if people don't sign up. And these four, pardon me, signed up. You know, Nancy traveling all the way from, I believe, West Virginia or Virginia. You know, Nadia's from Los Angeles. So the people traveling to be here and support this contest, and we really appreciate them doing that. You know, Lucas is giving Nadia a little bit more time to stay ready, but I feel as though she doesn't need more time.
She is very strong, and yeah, I don't expect her to really struggle with the weight much at all.
No.
You know, even all the way up into 250, 260, 270. That was even faster. That was even faster than the last weight.
And it won't be the press. It certainly won't be the press that limits her at all. If anything, it will be that clean. What you'll notice with Nadia, like for example, something that you'll see that, you know, Nancy, I believe, does really well, is Nancy was able to stay within her legs, dip and drive technique with her butt over her heels as she drives that continental from belt to shoulders. Nadia is so strong, she isn't quite as proficient as that portion of the lift, but to be perfectly honest, I don't think it'll matter because she's just so dang strong.
Absolutely, and that last repetition from Nancy actually looked better than the one previous, in my opinion.
Yeah, that 215 was better than the 195.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're both, you know, right now we're more than likely viewing a two-man race right now, and Martin going to climb as high as her technical abilities will allow her. But you never know. The thing is, it's sport, right? And anything could happen in sport. We don't know how this is going to shake down. And
Absolutely.
So it's almost foolish to always assume who may win or may not win. So Martin looks ready. She's approaching that bar with that, well, the eye of a competitor. I'm really excited to see this clean.
She is fierce. I love watching her compete.
She's also doing a no-contact clean. That's fascinating.
She's going to get a big drive, get all the way under it. Lost it out front just a little bit.
Okay. Just take her time. Just a full minute.
That's something that her and I have actually talked about.
And there was that
pulled her forward real hard.
She's got to fight for this now.
Take a breath, get yourself right, stay under it. Yeah, just a little out front again.
And I think that goes to what we were talking about before. You know, I think because of where her head position is during the clean, when she then goes to stand up the squat, it's going to sap more energy than one would want. Because by the time you get to that front rack position, it is still another very difficult task in trying to get this over your head. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of pop, takes a lot of energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. And that one, you know, I think she has plenty of power to actually finish that lift. It was just that when she pressed the weight, her body moved back just a little bit. She wasn't able to keep her body directly under the weight. And so the weight ended up being in front of where she needed it to be.
Right.
And even if you're strong enough to hold it overhead, you're not necessarily strong enough to hold it in front of your head.
Right, yeah, and when it comes to the sport of weightlifting and cleaning and pressing in general, especially with a barbell, it is a game of millimeters. So any fraction of an inch, any fraction of a centimeter off in what is optimal, you might as well have created an exponential load by 3 times. You know what I mean? You could really create more force vectors in the area that are just so non-ideal to try to catch this thing that it might as well be 300 pounds.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I completely agree. It's, again, being strong is awesome, but it's also how you use it and where you're at and how you're able to apply it.
Right. So right now, Rachel Bennett Peterson and Alicia, pardon me, Martin are no longer within the competition. So now we have a two-man fight between Nadia Stowers and Nancy Johnson. Right now, the barbell is at 235 pounds, I believe.
Correct.
Actually, they skipped.
Yep, skipped 225, went straight to 235.
Yeah, we're at 235 right now. Because normally that would be 245, right? So here we go. We should be at 235 pounds. Looks like Nadia Stowers will be the first athlete to do that.
And it'll be interesting to see how the clean goes for Nadia as the weight goes up and up and up, because I agree with your assessment. The press is not going to be the limiting factor for her. She's going to be able to press anything that gets to her shoulders.
Absolutely. And, you know, her ability to stay within her legs, creating a dip and drive, ideally with the butt going over the heels, a quarter squat down, that will be able to transfer vertical force vectors for her to catch this in an optimal position. But let's see how Ms. Stowers, you know, starting with a mixed grip, got it right to the belt. You know, again,
that
easy
is
peasy.
Really comfortable.
She's just, the
That
thing is,
so comfortable.
She's just too strong, is the thing. She's too damn strong.
And we love it.
Yeah, you know, Nadia has been on the circuit now for the better part of 4 years, I would say, on the international circuit. And she's proven time and time again, when it comes to a press, you can never count her out. Like, she's either going to be number one or she's either going to be number two. And that's it with Nadia. There's no anything less than that. Nancy Johnson, within her own weight class of the 73 kilos, is the exact same way. So getting to watch this opportunity between two of arguably who could be potentially the greatest of their class one day, is we're in such a unique and fortunate position to be watching this battle. Nancy with a great pick to the belt. Seamlessly.
Awesome clean, great rack position. Little unstable on the drive, but was able to press it out.
And you know what's going to be interesting to watch Nancy as she figures out that dip and drive, because you know she moved a little bit with her hips. Hips went a little forward, so it kind of went out in front of her. But the thing that Nancy has in terms of advantage over Nadia right now is that Nancy has an ability to actually rest the bar on the body when in the front rack. And why that's pertinent to being successful with the presses, she's able to have zero separation between the bar and body. So as she's dipping and driving through her legs, she's able to get maximal force production from the body projecting upward into the bar that will also ideally then go upward, giving her every ounce of energy she's putting down and up straight into the bar. Whereas Nadia has to hold the bar out in front of her body due to a lack of mobility, specifically in her lats and rotator cuff. And the disadvantage with that is, as she's then dipping and driving, her arms then act like a force absorber, or a shock absorber, I should say, which will take off weight on the top end of one's ability because it will slow down the potential drive that you could get out of the bar. Now, when you're, frankly, ridiculously strong, you could get away with it. But up until a point, and that's kind of how you end up getting athletes like a Nancy who could potentially outpress someone who's stronger than them because they're able to elicit techniques that someone else might not physically be able to do.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. I think, you know, the Nancy's ability to rack the bar on those shoulders, it also allows her a moment to really drive, like as you were saying, and to simplify it a little bit, she can more effectively transfer power from the leg and hip drive into the bar, accelerating the bar instead of, as you said, kind of creating a shock absorber with the triceps and the shoulders. You know, that's going to slow down the speed of the bar coming off of the shoulders for Nadia.
Yeah, and you know, it's not something you normally see within the women's divisions. Generally speaking, the women's divisions, they're a lot more mobile than the men, mostly because they actually listen to their coaches and train smarter. But it's often something that's seen, right? Usually in the open class specifically, you know, the guys are real lucky if they're able to get the bar even down to their chin. So, you know, it's interesting to see these two wildly different athletes in terms of approach, in terms of abilities, in terms of technical prowess, equally be successful until one of them isn't. We'll find out. And right now we're at 245 pounds. That's 112 kilos. This is really exciting. This is exciting. Again, we're watching two world champions, two world's strongest women from two different classes fight it out right now.
So 245, I feel that we need to put this in perspective. This is heavier than the middleweight men's body weight.
Yeah.
So some of the men that we'll see pressing later, the weight that these ladies are lifting is already heavier than those athletes.
And looking, it's already right. It's already heavier than some of their male peers. I think as though, yep, I'm seeing that right now. Nancy is pointing towards her arm. She probably has a bit of a twinge. She's going to opt to stop right now. So if I had to guess, Lucas, the promoter, is probably going to ask Nadia if she just wants to go up just a little bit and chip her and take the event win. So it looks like Nancy is quite happy just taking second place in this event. You know, more than likely saving her body for sandbags and things to come, because she's pointing at her arms, which they look like her bicep. Maybe has a slight twinge, and that's something you don't want to push if you don't have to. Especially if she already knows she's locked in for second place. Save the body. Be smart. Be tactical. She probably has other events coming up this weekend, like the squat, for example, where she's going to wreck house. So, you know, she's saving her body.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. And you have these fantastically strong athletes like Nadia and Martin and Rachel. But, you know, for example, a lot of people probably would assume Nadia would be the favorite for the squat. But if you watch the training footage, you watch some of the positions hit by some of these athletes, I would not necessarily put Nadia as the one winning, even though she is freakishly strong. It's one of those lifts. Everyone's got one lift where they're not just the best. You know what I mean? I think the squat might be Nadia's Achilles heel if she does have one.
Yeah, well, we will see. We'll find out this weekend.
So it looks like right now Nadia put on 10s aside, so she's opting to chip Nancy.
That's a 255 on the bar.
255. Great
nice
continental.
And comfortable.
And
plenty of power.
Easy as pie. And right there, she has the event win. You know, not again.
Bow.
You know, I want to thank these world's strongest women for coming out here and taking a chance and competing at a major pro-am like this and supporting the sport, and for putting on a show for these people. You know, we have, again, Nancy Johnson taking second place, Nadia Towers taking first place, Rachel Bennett taking fourth, and Martin taking third in that event. A fantastic showing of ability from these ladies. Right now, they are done. That is event number 1 completed for our Pro-Am women's 82-kilo class. Coming on up, we will have the middleweight men's division. If I had to guess, we're probably going to stay on commentary. Yep, we are, because the men are coming right on out. And right now, Zach, you know, this is your class. You know, you are the most dominant 105-kilo male in American history, at least competing in America, at least. You are the most successful, and this is your class. So what are you thinking we're going to see in this max barbell clean and press?
Oh, that's a tough one, because this is.
And if I may remind you, we also have former Team USA member in weightlifting, Ben Claridad, competing.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's here.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He's right over there, that beautiful Filipino man.
Oh, I'm very excited to see what he hits. I was going to say something between a 365 and a 405 would be really nice to see.
And I asked Ben prior to the event, like, what are you prepared to do? He said, win.
There you go. Hey, that's that's a good answer.
Yeah, Ben is of the mindset of whatever's on the bar, I'm just going to hit until other people can't.
Excellent. Well, I hope we have a couple other athletes that can really push him all the way to that limit.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think we have a few athletes that will dance right around the 170-kilo mark, which is 374 pounds. For right now, they're going to split up these 2 barbells, so we could have 2 lanes going at once, and then they'll bring it down to 1 barbell in the center, when I think we're down to 5 athletes, I want to say, something along those lines. That way we kind of expedite things a little bit, and then we'll slow it down for those heavier numbers.
Nice, yeah. Oh my goodness, we're going to see heavy pressing.
We're going to see some heavy pressing. This is really exciting. You know, I know Ben mentioned to me that he has a little bit of a buggy knee right now, but he feels as though he's totally fine to still do basically whatever he needs to do. But either way, we have some other amazing pros. We have some pros and non-pros in this class as well. And looking at the roster, let's go over that really quick in the men's middleweight pro-am. You know, we have Damian Capoponi, we have Tyler Buxton, we have Benjamin Claridad, we have Derek Brooks, we have Jacob Ferry, we have Melvin Nimwaba, pardon me, Melvin, I love you, Jesse Campbell, Darren Rovito, we have Dylan Dutcher, and we have Garrett Payne, Nicholas Cannell, and Michael O'Connor. And, you know, believe it or not, it's actually kind of shocking that Michael O'Connor's not a pro, because I feel like he's been on the scene for so long.
Absolutely.
And he's been so good for a while. I think this is Mike's opportunity now to get that pro card, because he's had so many opportunities where he's been so close to it, and unfortunately just never quite, got that position, that podium spot he needed.
Yeah, so for the people at home, maybe a couple of people are asking, what is a pro card?
Right.
Like, what does that even mean?
right, so within the United States, we have a pro class system, right? And basically what that means is we have certain competitions around the country that within the podium positions, if an individual earns that spot based on the merit of the competition, based on the merit of the class he's competing against, he will earn something called a pro card. And that pro card is essentially a division in and of itself, a division of its own, of athletes who are truly the best amongst the country, and they have their own pro shows. This is one of them. America's Strongest Man is another, things like that. And that gives an opportunity for truly the elite to compete against the elite. And we have pro-am shows like this. We have something quite special in that we allow pros and amateurs to sign up. And if an amateur happens to podium against these pros, they then get the opportunity to earn a pro card. So I would argue the pro-am shows are the most, there's most what-ifs, right? We're going to have incredible displays of power from the predictable names that we already know, like guys like Tyler Buxton, for example. But then we also might have new names come out and show out and blow people away. So we have two successful lifts in lane number 1 and lane number 2. Andrew, let's see here. The athletes out was Damian Capone and Tyler Buxton, both successful in their first attempts here. Zach, what is the first weight listed here for these 105 men?
Oh, let me take a look at that. We have 265, and we're going to be making 20-pound weight jumps.
All right, so easy peasy, 120 kilos essentially on the bar. If I had to guess, Ben's probably going to power clean this, or maybe even just warm up his knee with a full clean. Right now, we have Ben Claridad and our boy Derek Brooks.
Yeah.
Ben with a full clean warming up. Derek with a continental clean.
Watching that clean and jerk makes me really want to get out there.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I figure if you actually compete in this, you and Ben would probably be the two heaviest ones out there.
Oh, I would really like to go head-to-head with somebody that could push me like that.
Yeah.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah, Claridad is a long-time weightlifter. For those that may not know, Ben was a long-time member of Cal Strength, lifting, having training partners as John North, Donnie Schenkel, Glenn Penley coached him for a while. So, Ben is a long-time weightlifting legend, or staple, I should say, within the community. Now, Melvin with a fantastic finish there, and who else? And Melvin and Jacob Ferry, both with very successful lifts at 120 kilos, 265 pounds. The next two athletes out will be Jesse Campbell and Darren Revito.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this barbell impacts these athletes, because the barbell clean and press is not actually a very common movement in the sport of strongman.
No, you almost never see it. Right. Again, we have your athlete, Darren Revito, right in front of us. Great continental clean. Opting for a push press. Okay. And Jesse Campbell with an easy lift as well. Jesse wearing essentially no equipment as well. No belt.
Very smooth clean from Jesse as well.
Yeah, it was really good. No belt, no wrist wraps, just a pair of knee sleeves. Cool. Respect. Next athletes out, we have Dylan Dutcher and Garrett Payne. Again, at 265 pounds in our men's pro-am division.
A little bit of a missed clean right there. Recomposed himself really well. Push press. Nice. Both of them get the down call.
Yeah, both athletes successfully hitting 265 quite easily with a push press technique.
And Dylan Dutcher did look like he had a little bit of an elbow issue.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that impacts him, or if, what's going on there. We did mention it in the first session, training many, many years with strength sports, sometimes your elbows get a little banged up, or maybe just in life you acquire a couple injuries and the elbows don't lock quite the same as they used to. So, we will see some athletes with a slightly modified lockout position that might look like one of their elbows are slightly soft, but we want to assure you that their elbows are, in fact, at a locked-out, controlled position.
And that was Nicholas Cannell, by the way, and Michael O'Connor, successful at 265. All right, so now we have a weight change. What weight will be going up to next?
285.
Great, so 130 kilos, 285 pounds, simple enough. The two first athletes to come out will be Damian Capodoni, and Tyler Buxton. Oh, it seems as though we're getting a skip. So we're actually going to have Ben Claridad and Tyler Buxton. Ben Claridad, again, is probably just using this as a warm-up. I know he wants to warm up that knee a little bit. You'll probably see an incredibly easy full clean out of Ben and split jerk.
Oh, great position.
Yeah, Ben's good at this.
Very comfortable.
He's an incredible weightlifter.
We have Buxton at the rack position, looking for a big drive.
Oh, interesting split technique there. Bit of a splat jerk. narrow stance split, making it still look easy. The next athletes we'll have out is Jacob Ferry and Derek Brooks. We have some athletes skipping, so it's going to be hard for me to track his name. So forgive me if I miscall a name. So again, we're at 285 pounds.
Okay. We got Derek still working right here in lane 2. Got the bar up to the rack position. Smooth dip, strong drive, good split. Did a great job staying under the bar, controlling back up to the standing position.
Yeah, fantastic split jerk there. And the next two athletes we have on out, I believe we have
Jesse
Melvin
Campbell and
Jesse
Melvin.
Campbell.
Yep.
Melvin giving me the old thumbs up. I was lucky enough to help him with some of his clean technique, but I know he's not going to do that today. He's just going to muscle it because he can. Campbell with a fantastic clean. And Melvin with
Nice split.
a damn near strict press.
Some strong presses.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a battle today between Ben Claridad and Jesse Campbell. That is my prediction.
I'd like to see Jesse hit that one more time. I do think I saw his right elbow was in a little bit of an interesting position. I'm curious.
Maybe an anatomical issue, you're thinking?
I think so, but it could have just been my eye catching something else. I don't know.
Right now, we should have Dylan Dutcher and I believe Darren Revito.
Smooth clean from Darren. Good push press.
Yeah, easy peasy. Both athletes are successful at 285. Great lifting.
All right, we have Nicholas in lane 1. And in lane 2, I believe we have Garrett Payne.
Yes, we have Garrett Payne and yes, Nick Cannell. Nick Cannell with the continental, both gentlemen, continental clean technique. And frankly, a near strict press for Garrett Payne. That was incredibly powerful.
Nice.
Nick Cannell with a good split jerk. Fantastic effort from Nick. We now have Mike O'Connor at 285, I believe, potentially lifting by himself.
Yeah, it does look like he'll be lifting by himself in this one.
Yep, so Mike will be lifting by himself at 285. Mike O'Connor, lane number 2, 285. Good front rack position out of Mike. And a solid
Nice
dip and drive.
push press.
Yeah,
I do think we could see some really big numbers from Mike as well.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable. His ability to have that front rack, I think, is going to really help him out as we get to these top end numbers.
Absolutely.
For the reasons that we've already listed prior, which is good because some of these gentlemen don't quite have the front rack. So it's really good to see this here. And I believe that should be now in this next two heats. Right now we are at 305 or 315. Are we at 315 now?
We are going up to 305, if I'm not mistaken. So let's look what's on the bar. We have 245 plus greens. Sorry, 245 plus greens, 295 plus a 5 each side.
We're at
305.
315. 315.
Fight me.
Let's just math again.
Yeah, we got a red, we got a blue, we got a green,
Yeah.
plus 5s. So anyway, a little over 300 regardless.
Yeah. Tyler Buxton out here with
There we go, straight to the
Damian
rack position.
Capone. Both gentlemen. Tyler with a great split jerk and Capadoni with also a split jerk. Great work,
Excellent.
boys. Yeah, I believe.
Tyler did a great job regrouping between those repetitions.
Right, because the last one was hard. It was hard to lift.
Yeah, and he came out and it was one attempt, one make, done. Very nice.
So right now we have Ben Claridad and Derek Brooks. We should be at 142 kilos, 350 pounds, I believe at least. This should be a nice warm-up for both these gentlemen. Ben with a very simple clean and incredible split jerk.
Very smooth.
Derek getting to that front rack now. This will be a big lift for Derek.
Oh, that's so
And
close.
he re-racks in the split. Oh my goodness, that was.
He's got to stay in position now. He's got to hold it. Ooh.
And
That's very tough to put out that much work and regroup and hit this weight again.
I mean, to be able to receive the bar in the split position on a re-rack, that is unbelievable strength. I think what we're witnessing right now is not so much an athlete not strong enough, just maybe lacking some technical prowess.
Absolutely. I mean, he got it to lockout twice and just could not quite control it. It looked like, you know, and it is kind of challenging. These bars are a little bit more whippy than some of the athletes are used to. These are very, very high-end weightlifting bars.
Right.
They're lifting on.
Yeah, these are the IWF Rogue weightlifting bars, so the quality is extraordinarily high. The whip, the spin is of the standard of the Olympics. So, you know, again, some of these athletes may not be used to that, but you can definitely tell the ones that are. All right, Melvin here fighting for that press, and he gets it on his second attempt. What a great lift for Melvin.
It's going to be a big repetition for him.
Great work for Melvin. I do believe it's been a long time since he's hit that weight, so massive accomplishment for Melvin there. Next on up, we should have Jesse Campbell and Darren Ravito.
All right, I'm going to be watching Jesse's elbows. In particular, his right elbow, I'm very interested in. Nice power clean from Jesse. Darren going with the Continental. There's a little bit of softness in the left elbow, but he's definitely got it. And Darren is good for the repetition as well. Both athletes make it. Yeah, it does look like there's a little bit of an anatomical variation in Jesse's left elbow, but plenty of power, plenty of control. Very nice. Ooh, nice power clean
So
over
Garrett
there on lane
Payne
one.
with a great push press. And that is...
And you can see, and that is actually the lockout position for that athlete. You know, again, when...
Just Dylan Dutcher.
Yes, Dylan Dutcher. So, you know, I saw him in the warm-ups, and I saw him talking to the judges, and that is truly as far as those elbows lock out. And that's actually more challenging.
Because he's going to have to hold it longer now
Yeah.
to prove that he can maintain that weight. Right now, in lane number one, we have Nick Cannell, and lane two, we have Mike O'Connor. This would be a big lift for Nick. It looks pretty routine right now for Mike O'Connor. Mike,
Beautiful
fantastic push press.
Wow.
Nick with a fantastic split
hold
jerk.
it now. Beautiful way to beat. He, you know, on his last repetition for Nick, I thought he brought the weight down a little quick, and I was concerned for this repetition, but he controlled it excellently. He held it there. He waited for the down. He even gave another little fraction of a second and then put it down.
So right now, we should be going to 335, I believe. That is 152 kilos. Is that correct, Zach?
335?
Yeah, I believe that's what we're going to. Let's do some quick arithmetic. So we have 155
plus 90 plus 70
plus 90
10.
plus 70 plus 10. We're at 325.
325. Okay.
So 325. This is 148.5 kilos. Right now we have Tyler Buxton and Damian Capadoni out lifting weights. Tyler Buxton to the belt. Capadoni to the belt.
Excellent. Straight to the shoulders. Very nice. Very smooth. Gonna have to get a big drive.
Both gentlemen with a split jerk technique. Both getting down command.
I'm impressed with that. I'm impressed with that. With the way that the last weight looked for both of those athletes.
Right.
They really did a good job.
Yeah, everyone seems to be getting sharper as these weights get heavier.
I agree. And I do think the whip of the bar is playing into that. Some of the athletes have not handled the bar with this much whip or this much kind of
oscillation.
Yeah, this much oscillation. A lot of these athletes are, you know, used to lifting on stiffer bars.
Right. So as of right now, we have Ben Claridette and Melvin out. Now, for Ben, this will be a routine lift, but this will be a massive PR for Melvin. This will be a huge lift. Melvin fighting to get to that front rack. He can do this. Ben, routine makes the lift. Come on, Melvin.
Very nice.
Melvin's going to fight for this.
Big drive from Melvin. Got to get it. Push.
Oh, and just
good effort. It was an excellent effort.
I mean, truth be told, I know that's a clean PR for Melvin, even from the training for this contest. So good on Melvin for giving that a really good go. Melvin is a former top 10 105 OSG competitor. You know, so we have some elite athletes out here right now. So right now we have Jacob Ferry in lane number 1 and a Darren Revoto, pardon me, in lane number 2. But Darren's been, pardon me, what's his name? Ferry. Jacob Ferry's been really impressing me with this split jerk. Oh, and Darren just fighting for that lift. I'd imagine that's a big lift for Darren. You coach him, don't you?
Yes, yeah. There's, you know, that's a pretty good one for Darren. I definitely think that he's capable of 345, 365. Okay. The question is, can we put it together today?
Right.
You know?
Right now in lane number 1, we have Jesse Campbell. In lane number 2, we have Garrett Payne. Garrett with very entertaining shorts, little alligators on him.
Jesse Campbell's clean is just
really
so
good.
Easy for him. I'm curious what it will be, the clean or the press for him. It does look like his press is a little bit more clunky.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it might be the split jerk. His clean definitely looks practiced. It looks like something that he might have been doing for quite some time. Maybe a former weightlifter, maybe a former track and field athlete. But he has some great proficiency there. Out next, we have Dylan Dutcher and Mike O'Connor. Let's pay attention to Dylan again, his lockout, because that gentleman really needs to hold longer, because it seems as though, anatomically speaking, he's struggling with his body. It's harder for him to maintain the overhead position. Again, we have 325 pounds of the bar, 148.8 kilos.
Such a good power clean.
Mike O'Connor with a monster push press.
I think Mike is really going to push Ben.
Darren Dutcher holding, and he gets the down call. Fantastic. Dylan Dutcher, pardon me.
Yeah, sorry. Dylan Dutcher power clean that. That was a high power clean.
Yeah,
he's just rips
again,
on that
he's
bar.
lifting like a lifter that might be a former weightlifter or a track and field athlete, because his power production and pull is really technical.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I completely agree.
Nick Cannell out here with 325 pounds. I do believe this would be near PR, if not a PR for Nick Cannell. Nick Cannell is the owner of Puget Sound Pizza, one of the major sponsors of this show. So let's see a big PR out of Nick here.
Got to get a big bump up to the rack position. Stable dip, strong drive. Oh my goodness, that was fantastic. He's got to hold it. He's got to hold it. He's got to hold it. Hold it. Hold. Stay tough now. Stay tough. Stay tough.
And Nick dropped. Unfortunately, he didn't make the lift, but I think he's perfectly okay. I think he might have just skyrocketed himself out from underneath the bar, and everyone's laughing. He's fine. He just had a hell of a fight with 325 pounds.
That was an incredible split, I have to say. It was the recovery where he started to lose it.
Yeah, that man has zero quit in him. But yes, you're right. You know,
he committed.
If you were to watch his back foot, he had an external rotation, which sent him forward initially in his recovery process. Your foot wasn't internally rotated, creating a little bit more balance.
Yeah, the heel collapsed down.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Strongman curse. But hell of a fight out of Nick Cannell. That was an incredible fight. You know, he obviously didn't get it on the day, but he's obviously good for some big weights.
I'm very impressed with how he committed under the bar, because that's one of the first things that goes with athletes typically going into that split jerk, especially from the strongman realm. A lot of athletes will think of it too much as a press and not a jerk. Right. And he committed completely under that bar. There was zero hesitation in getting under that bar. He said, I'm going to press this or I'm going to die. And it was fantastic. I really enjoy seeing that.
Yes, as of right now, we are down on athletes. So I'm going to go ahead and mark off our names, see what athletes we have remaining for us. And right now, what weight are we at?
345,
345.
if I'm not mistaken.
Now we're at some big weights.
We're getting up there.
Right now, we should have Damien Capadoni in lane number 1, and we have lane number 2. We have Tyler Buxton. I'd imagine this would be big lifts for both of these gentlemen. All right, Capadoni to the belt, Buxton to the front rack. Both athletes ready to jerk. Oh, and Tyler decides to switch to a push press.
He's got to hold it. He's got to hold it. Oh, just a little bit of loss of control. Very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive that he got it that far up.
Yeah. Both athletes really driving the bar vertically as high as they can, scaring the hell out of their judge in the front over there in lane number 1. For the second time, nearly dying. But you know what? We out here. We're doing the thing.
We love it. We love it.
Nicole Schultz, our judge in number 1. She's incredibly fast, and she seems like she needs to be today. We have Ben Claridad in lane number 1, 345 pounds, and our boy Darren Ravito, pardon me. Now we're starting to get into some real weights here. This is now where things are starting to get spicy. Ben with the traditional clean, beautiful. Darren going for a continental clean. Ben is screaming, easy lift. Come on, Darren, get this weight. Oh,
hips
Darren
came
was
out.
so close.
Okay.
Darren was so close. Ben, pardon me. Zach, what do you think happened there?
Hips shot back too hard right after the drive, you know, and that. I think for many of these athletes, the whippiness of the bar is going to be a big factor. You know,
Right.
I think it has been a big factor for what I saw in Darren's dip and drive right there. He went to dip. He doesn't typically do well with the jerk when it's heavier, and his hips shot back too far. He can't save it at that point.
And the next two athletes we have out is Jacob Ferry and Garrett Payne, 345 pounds.
Nice.
Oh,
very
Ferry
close.
was
Very
so
close.
with that lift, but Garrett Payne does get it.
Very
Great
nice.
lift by Garrett.
I'm really excited to see these next couple lifts. This is going to be very interesting. These next 3 athletes, I think.
Yeah, because Jesse Campbell has a fantastic clean. Let's see if his press can hold up, and Michael Connor is looking really strong right now.
Yeah, very strong. Incredibly strong push press. I'm really impressed with that.
Yeah, his dip and drive is nearly perfect.
And Jesse knows what he's doing with that clean. Like, he moves so well.
Oh,
press is just up
Jesse's
front.
struggling to stabilize. Oh, okay. All right. I'm a little surprised Jesse got that lift, truth be told.
Yeah, his overhead position is a little forward.
Yeah,
it looks like he has a little bit of lack of mobility either in the shoulders, the lats, the triceps. Something's going on in those shoulders that's holding him back.
But you know what? Good for him. The judge gave him the call, and it's his. Michael Connor also quite easily, I would say, push press that weight. So right now we have Dylan Dutcher out.
I think Mike and Ben are going to have an epic battle. And
I really think so,
my
too.
question is, can Ben clean what he can press? Can he clean what he needs to?
You know, let's see Dylan's lift first here. Dylan Dutcher, can his overhead support?
Smooth dip, strong drive, hold it. And that is really tough.
And that is the fear when you have those anatomical issues. We're now relying on muscles to hold incredible load versus being able to stack joints. And he quite literally can't stack joints, unfortunately. But the gentleman got really far, worked really hard. Now, as for Ben Claridad's clean, I've seen Ben Claridad clean anywhere from 180 to 200 kilos comfortably, just about any given day. So I don't think the clean will be an issue here. If anything with Ben, if you were to look back at his weightlifting records and the lifts that he's missed in weightlifting meets, it's always been because of his jerk. If Ben has a bit of a bad habit of recovering back leg first,
I would not have guessed that from seeing his lifting today.
Well, I'll make the bold assertion and say this is still quite light for him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is still a routine lifts for Ben, considering his weightlifting career. And, you know, Ben is also an amateur athlete. You know, he's not a 105 pro, and I know he's coming here with some high hopes. You know, there's a squat event, there's 2 presses. You know, this is a bit of a perfect show for a weightlifter to try to make a transition into some strongman.
Absolutely, yeah. I do think the last two lifts that we've seen from Ben,
yes,
you know, I've seen a little bit of struggle in that clean, but I do wonder if it is just him receiving the bar and comfortably just coming back up at a pace that is very controlled, because it may be light for him, but maybe I'm interpreting that as a little bit of struggle when there's really no struggle.
You know, for him, I know he mentioned that he has some knee issues right now, so it could be that playing a role into this. But what I'm hoping is that he's just warming up. You know, he's just kind of getting used to those positions again. And doing some math here, we should have, let's see here.
365, if I'm not mistaken.
55 plus 45 plus 45. Plus those, and those are 5s at the end there. So we should be at 365. This is 162 kilos. This is legit weight. Now we're looking at some big weights.
Now we're having some fun. So we have 4 men remaining.
We have 4 men remaining in this contest. We have Benjamin Claridad, we have Jesse Campbell, Garrett Payne, and Mike O'Connor. Now we're starting to see some of these men turn on. So getting those antics, those that turning things on. You see Ben Claridad over there pacing. You see Jesse Campbell with a bit of a 1,000-yard stare. Garrett fiddling his hands. And this is where you see athletes fall into the routine, fall into the rhythm of when big load is on the bar. You know, people always have their own systems, their own approach, their own ways of getting to where they need to be mentally to approach these weights, because these are huge weights now for these guys and come up in, because the one after this is going to be just even crazier. So this is exciting now. We get to see some fun.
Absolutely. So with 365, who's going to make this lift? What's your call?
So my predictions, we'll see Ben Claridad make this. I think Jesse Campbell will miss due to his overhead position. I think Mike O'Connor crushes it. And I think Garrett Payne gets this. And interestingly enough, we just watched the boys do rock, paper, scissors for an order rechange. And good for them. That's a very amicable way to go about it.
I agree with your assessment, by the way. I think so as well. I'm going to say that Benjamin has some trouble with the 385 clean after this round.
We'll find out. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Mike O'Connor's belt clean will hold up to that sort of load, because that is heavy for a continental. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I do think that his technique has looked very consistent between repetitions, but when we're getting into these heavy weights with this kind of bar, that whip can create a lot of additional strain in the system, and it can create variables that athletes aren't necessarily used to dealing with. And when you have almost 400 pounds on the bar that's throwing your body around that only weighs 230 pounds, it can cause some problems.
Yeah, and here we go with 162 kilos, 365 pounds for Ben Claridad. And this is going to be something to see here. Ben Claridad is a special athlete, former Team USA member in the sport of weightlifting, international and national level weightlifting coach.
365.
Now this jerk should be routine for Ben.
His jerks are looking so strong today.
Wow, and with that,
he's going to have time to reclean.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to go straight for it, but I think he can. Oh,
wow,
that's
and
okay.
wow. And
that's
we,
okay.
and what are the odds? And what are the odds? Ben Claridad missing out on that leg. And that just goes to show you just how heavy this is. You know, this is that jump from 325 to 365. It's huge weight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it looks like we were both wrong on our predictions.
Yeah, we both missed that one.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, and that's sport, right? That's what we were saying before with the 82 kilo women's pro. Like, you know, we had a guess of who might do well, but you never know.
Yeah,
I mean, the weightlifter just failed, right? So, like, you never know.
And granted, he's taken a lot of repetitions at this point.
Right.
Could be playing into some of
maybe
this.
he's fatigued. Maybe he took too many, right? Let's see here how Garrett Payne does here out on the platform with 365 pounds, 162 kilos.
I think he'll get this one. He's been very consistent. I haven't seen much of a shift in his technique.
Yeah, he's at the front rack now.
A little bit of a compromised front rack from his last ones, in my opinion. He's got to regroup and really drive this bar overhead if he wants it. Oh, and his hips are starting to shift a little bit. Not today. That's all right. 365 is a heavy weight for these guys. For this weight class, 365 is quite heavy.
It's huge weight.
I do think Jesse is going to have to really bring his A game on this pressing if he wants to be able to hit this.
Yes.
But he's got some fight in him. He's got some fight in him, and this is doable. I think he's going to clean this very comfortably. Yeah,
I'm curious to see if his overhead position supports it. John.
Says no with the clean. That's all right. That's all right. Now, I think Mike O'Connor is going to come in here and clean up these points. Excellent work from Jesse Campbell, though. All right, so here's Mike O'Connor. If he hits this, he wins this event.
Mike O'Connor for the event win at 365 pounds.
I think he's going to get this. What do you think?
I think Mike has this. I think Mike is showed up correct today.
Wow.
I think he's looking
that is
good.
a comfortable position. His hips are in great position. Good drive.
And with his
Pulls
split
that to- Oh, he's got to re-grab that. He's got to grab it. He needs to go grab that right now, like he does not have the time.
I don't think Mike wants to the attempt. So we have a massive tie.
That is difficult for the points.
And it's really hard in the points. The thing is, Mike was good for that. You know, you can tell in his split, his back leg was a little too elongated, and it went forward.
Yep.
It was not a lack of ability or strength.
He had it there. That's one that's...
And what's interesting was that was the very first time he opted to split jerk.
Yeah.
Every other rep he push pressed. What do you do? How do you think that played into that?
I think he should have started... Well, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, right? But
Right.
I think he had every ability to push press that, and he might have just wanted the split for the style points.
I don't mind the switch of technique maybe midway through, but what I would say is if you know, let's say that an attempt is going to be a heavier one for you, on the rep before, get that split jerk in. You know, get that technical, so you at least know what it feels like. Because Mike, frankly, the way that split jerk looked in terms of production upwards, horsepower upwards, I think he had more than 365 in him today.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going to have a big old tie now in the men's middleweight. And you know what? That was incredibly fun to watch. But wow, what a turn of events. The weightlifter missed, all the stronger guys missed as well. What a strange turn of events here.
365 is not lightweight. You know?
No, it's certainly not.
Quite heavy for a lot of the 105s. And, you know, I think we're going to see a lot of the heavyweights bow out before that weight, but I know that we're going to see a couple guys hitting heavier than 365 today, which I'm really excited to see here.
Yeah, so now we are going into our men's heavyweight division. This is going to be special. This is incredible. And what weight are we starting at today?
We're going to be starting at 335 for
okay,
these
so
guys.
152 kilos.
So we're only taking off 30 pounds, and that's where all these guys start.
Right. Have to start there. There's quite a few of these gentlemen out here right now. I'm going to quickly go over the names as we watch these guys line up. First one out will be Cody Lindsay by himself. Then we have Andrew Clayton, Brett Thompson, the former Rainier Classic champion, Christopher Olive, Zach Price, Andy Nyberg, Nick Syverson, Josh Gregory, Joel Alexander, Sturgeon Anderson, Kenny Nichols, Nicholas Tokarowski, Connor Gordon, Mark Sanchez, and Jasper Haney. We have a full roster in our men's Pro-Am division.
Do you have a pick?
Ooh.
You got a top three. You
I'll
got
give you
ones
my
to
podium.
watch.
I'll give you
How about ones to watch?
Ones to watch. Well, basically the ones that I think are going to podium. But the ones to watch, you know, I think we have guys like Mark Sanchez, who is an 800-pound squatter for reps. You know, he's a monster of an athlete. We have Jasper Haney, who's formerly podiumed at this competition before. We have guys like Zach Price and Connor Gordon, who have been competing in a while and around this scene, are very talented. We have also Brett Thompson, who has won this competition before. And a nice little throw-in, nice little twist of events. We have Andrew Clayton, a former World's Strongest Man winner in the men's 105 kilo division. I believe he's won that competition at least twice.
He
has won the OSG Open Class qualifier for Giants Live. He's won that show. He's competed in Giants Live. So we have a very strong array of talent and ability out here, some of which are international. So this is a strong Open Class show.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see these guys press some heavy weights. I think we're going to see, oh man, where do I begin? I'm going to be really excited to watch Jasper hit some heavy weights. The question is, can he get the clean in my mind? You know, Zach Price is a huge presser. Andrew Clayton is very technical.
Yep.
On the
Fantastic
side
split
of,
jerker.
On the side of the heavyweights, he's one of the more technical jerkers. And it's just going to be a good show.
Yeah, you know, again, highly competitive. And one thing I really want to make poignant and want to point out about this Open Class competition is this. These gentlemen, top three, qualify for North America's Strongest Man, a show that will fly them out, take care of their hotels, and it's a true international show held by JF Caron up in Quebec, Canada, and that is for the North American title. So this is the only qualifier for American men to go to that show. So the show consists of 3 American men who are invited and 3 American men who qualify through this contest. So this is a major opportunity for these guys to break out into the international scene. The same route that Lucas Hatton even took to now get to Arnold Pro shows and Strongest Man on Earth. So this is a huge opportunity for these men.
Absolutely.
And first on out is Cody, Lindsey, and Andrew Clayton at 300. And oh, Cody's gotten a little excited. He picked up the bar early. He just wanted a clean pull.
Like, hey,
but we will
that's
have
cool,
Cody,
that's
Lindsey in lane number 2 and Andrew Clayton in lane number 1. Expect a very technical split jerk out of Andrew, and expect a traditional approach out of Cody Lindsey.
I think they're both going to continental this. What do you think?
I think so too. I don't think Andrew's full cleaning anymore.
Nice and smooth.
Great push press out of Cody. Great split jerk out of Andrew. Easy peasy for both gentlemen.
Excellent.
So next on up, we have Brett Thompson in lane number 2 and Christopher Olive. Brett is actually one of my athletes, and we're looking for good results here. Brett is a former Rainier Classic winner, and I know for a fact this young man really wants to go to Canada.
Excellent.
And I'm sure so does Christopher Olive out there.
A nice high pull out of Brett.
Yeah.
Nice position overhead as well. Very vertical. He's not getting his head too far back. He's able to push his head through.
And that's something that Brett and I have worked really hard on, because he was a bit of a traditionalist before, hips going forward, middle, the Strongman Classic thing. But Brett's worked really hard here. But in this third heat here, we have Zach Price and Andy Nyberg. Now, Zach Price took second place in this contest. Oh, pardon me, won this contest last year. He's a Rainier champion as well. Earned his pro card there. And now he's really looking forward.
He's bringing the push jerk in,
Yeah,
huh?
that was a decent push jerk out of Zach.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of that. I know you love that.
I just love efficient rep cycles.
Yeah,
That's what I
know
like.
You're a big fan. It's pretty. It's nice. In our next heat, we should have Nick Syverson and Josh Gregory. Oh, no, pardon me. We don't have Josh Gregory. We have Josh Gregory in lane number 1, it looks like. And that is, we have, Nick right here in front of us, lane number 2. And Josh Gregory over there. Pardon me, I was correct. Oh, goodness.
A little bit of a twang on the bicep.
And that, unfortunately, looks like Nick Syverson might have hurt his bicep on that lift. Oh, that is so unfortunate.
If that is the case, he's very composed. It seemed as though it may have been a scare and not necessarily a full-blown injury.
I hope so. I know Nick was really looking forward to doing this show, and his training's been going so well. All right, so we have Big Sturge out here in lane number 1. In lane number 2, we have Joel Alexander. Joel is a fantastic competitor, just taking top 12 of the Arnold Amateur this year. Sturge is a local lifter of the Pacific Northwest with great promise.
Excellent. Bars up to the rack position for both of them.
Yeah.
Sturgeon's good at 335. Wow.
And what you'll see out of Joel is that he will basically strict press anything.
That was a lot of power out of the shoulders.
Yeah, Joel is one of those guys that will strict press 400 pounds for reps.
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's a special type of athlete. So next on up, we should have Kenny Nichols in lane 1, and we have Nicholas Takarowski in lane number 1 and Kenny Nichols in lane number 2, if this sheet is correct. Great continental by both gentlemen. Looks like an easy push press out of lane number 1. Lane number 2 waiting to start that lift, and gets his down call. Very good.
Very nice. A lot of makes here at 335.
Yeah, so far just one athlete seemingly up top. Now we have Connor Gordon in lane number 2 and Mark Sanchez in lane number 1. Connor Gordon is an RP11 athlete, one that I coach, and he's really looking forward to this contest. Sanchez has a fantastic overhead as well, very powerful athlete. Connor with a great clean and easy push press. Love to see it. Great job out of Sanchez as well. Perfect repetition by both gentlemen.
Both good for 335.
Again, we are starting at 152 kilos, 335 pounds. We have our boy, former podium placer, and Jasper Haney coming out by himself. Our special boy. Jasper Haney's the type of guy to either win a show or tear a hamstring or both. So we're going to find out.
Well, hopefully just the first.
Yeah.
Nice
Thing is, I don't think he minds when the other happens.
He's got the bar on his shoulders. Very nice. Good power transfer right there. Nice.
Very good, Jasper.
Excellent.
Goofy Goober showing up. Fantastic effort. Now, so far, all of these gentlemen, barring one, have made these first attempts. We're now going up in weight. What is the weight we should be going up to next?
It's going to be a 20-pound jump up to 355.
Okay, 355, which is, oh, goodness gracious.
It's 10 pounds more than any of the 105s lifted.
That is fair, yeah. So it should be 158.85 kilos, I believe.
Doing the kilo math in your head. I love it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the kilos. I'm a real nerd. All right, up on lane number 2, we have our boy Cody Lindsay, and that means we should have Andrew Clayton, I believe. Lane
he may elect to pass on this.
Yeah, well, he looks comfortably seating, so I don't think he'll be hitting it. It looks as though maybe just Cody Lindsay will be taking this lift. We'll see what's going on here.
Yeah, Andrew Clayton's shaking his head no, he doesn't want to take it.
It looks like he's opting to skip.
You know, that does not surprise me. He got a feel for the bar. He said, yeah, I'm pretty good with this. I'm okay. I'm going to pass. I have a couple more reps in me. Wants to save a little bit of that energy for heavier repetitions.
Yeah, so 355 for Cody Lindsay. It looks like we're going to go ahead and get who I believe is Christopher Olive out. I think. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, and this is where it can get kind of tricky because a lot of the athletes are probably expecting Andrew Clayton to take this attempt. And they were thinking, I'm a couple lifters out.
Right.
Now things have shifted up a little bit because one of the athletes that wasn't ready to lift is having to go up and lift right now.
Right. And that's definitely a game these athletes will play. So let's see here. Christopher Olive and Cody Lindsay. Cody with a good push press and a down command. Very good.
A little bit of instability overhead, but he's got it. And both athletes are good with 355.
Both athletes are good. I'll say this. Christopher Olive was lucky that judge wasn't looking at his feet because he was not together. So let's see if they catch on to that soon enough. So next athlete to come out should be Brett Thompson here in lane number 2, directly in front of us, and Andy Nyberg, assuming Andy's taking that lift. All right, Brett Thompson with a great high pull. Great transition.
Very nice.
Brett with a really good push press. Really good. Yeah, no. For the push press, more legs. And Brett coming on over for some quick cueing for his push press, but it looked like a very easy lift out of him and Andy Nyberg. So right now, it looks like we have Joshua Gregory in lane number 1 and Zach Price in lane number 2. Josh Gregory all the way to the front rack. Oh, and Price with a fantastic power jerk, man.
Nice.
Really good. Really outstanding performance out of both these gentlemen who both finished this lift.
Excellent. I do think if Zach could punch his head through a little earlier, he would be much more stable.
Okay, sure.
That would be my assessment on that. And he has all the power. He has all the pressing power in the world, though. I do not think he will be missing a press.
I don't think so either.
I think he will be, if anything, limited by the clean. So that would be it, because he's a pressing machine.
Next on up, we have Sturgeon Anderson in lane 1 and Joel Alexander in lane 2. Joel fighting for that clean, but once it's in the front rack, I know he's going to press
Sturgeon's good for 355.
Hits it easy, and Joel, again, another strict press.
Wow, that is a lot of... That's a lot of pressing power.
Yeah, with athletes like Joel, who are so, frankly, just large, you know, the continental, that turnover is going to be where their true fight is for the event, but then they'll press it like it's nothing, you know. So it's interesting to see where athletes are finding their place, their rhythm. So next on up, we should have Nicholas Taranowski, I believe is how you pronounce his name, and a Kenny Nichols in lane 2. Nichols and Kenny both to the front rack. Nicholas, rather. Nicholas getting that down command, and so is Kenny. Fantastic work out of both gentlemen.
So the weight's starting to show for some of these athletes. Not as easy as the last weight. Still, most of these athletes are still able to hit 355, and that is no small number.
So next we have Mark Sanchez in lane 1 and Connor Gordon in lane 2. Connor looking really comfortable, and so is Mark, frankly. It's a big lift for both gentlemen. They need these points.
Very comfortable.
Oh,
very
and Connor,
comfortable
smooth
press.
and
Wow.
powerful.
Both athletes very smooth off the shoulder.
Great work. Connor making his coach very proud. Now to finish off our favorite competitor of the day, everyone's favorite, Jasper Henney, the last athlete out at 355 pounds. Quite the high pull on Jasper. Now he's really lucky he's able to maintain body contact with that bar. It's going to help a lot.
Absolutely.
Really routine press out of Jasper. Fantastic work.
Nice, very nice.
So now our next weight, if my math is correct, we're going to 385. Is that correct?
We are going up to 375.
375.
375 is up next.
So 170 kilos. Fantastic. Now, something tells me this is right around where we might see some folks start to drop. Between this and the next attempt, we might see some folks drop.
I would agree. 375, 395. I think, you know, this is where a lot of points are going to be made and where a lot of points are going to be lost.
Yeah, I would agree. So next on up, we have Andrew Clayton and Cody Lindsay. Andrew Clayton being in lane number 1 and Cody Lindsay being in lane number 2. Cody Lindsay training out of Southside Barbell. Same training facility of the Dirks.
Nice.
And Evan Singleton. Andrew Clayton coming from Florida.
Yep, nice, smooth, clean. Great split jerk.
Yep, truth be told, it looked a little, you know when something's so fast, it looks shaky? That's kind of what Andrew Clayton looked like to me. Like, it didn't look hard at all. I think he smoked it. But it looked like one of those things where maybe he had too much power, if you will. You know what I mean? Put too much force into it.
If I were to make a single assessment off what I saw, I would say he wasn't quite ready for the whip in the bar.
Right.
It looked like that was where the instability came from.
Brett Thompson in lane 2. And Christopher Oliver in lane 1. Brett with a root press. Much better.
That was gorgeous.
Looks like he listened to his coach.
All the power.
Much better leg drive. And looks like we have a fight over there with Christopher Olive. Can he get this? Can he fight for it? Oh, so close. Christopher Olive really gave everything he got to that lift. It quite literally went behind him. Fantastic effort out of Chris. And that's what I was thinking. At some point, some of these guys start dropping off at this now. And now we're starting to see, you know, the separation of true. I think now this is what's really who's more technically prowess is going to start to show. And who has that ability, who has that skill.
Absolutely. And there's, you know, I know I've said it about a dozen times at this point, but the whip in the bar does make a big difference, especially when they get it all the way overhead. If there's a little forward or backward wiggle.
And Zachary Price is making that lift in lane number 2.
Very
and Andy
routine.
Nyberg in lane number 1, still going for it. Looks like Andy's fighting for that Continental. No lift for Andy.
Excellent effort. Excellent effort, though. Yeah, Zach Price made that look quite easy.
You know, Zach is looking in form right now. He's looking in form.
He's been looking in form for a little while now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, as you said, he was the winner of this competition last year. He's the returning champion.
In lane number 2, we have Joel Alexander and Josh Gregory. But yeah, no, Zach is the champion. He's got to defend his belt.
That's right.
All right, we have Gregory ordering to the front rack.
Big bump, got to get under it.
Great push press out of Gregory. Can Alexander get it? And what a joke of a press.
Woo.
Fantastic out of both athletes.
Very strong press, very strong press.
All right, we have big old Sturge in lane number 1, and we should have Kenny Nichols in lane number 2. Oh, no, pardon me. We now have Sturge in lane number 1 and Connor Gordon, so Kenny skipped. This is going to be a big lift for Connor. This is 5 pounds over his personal best.
I think he's going to get it. He has been moving fantastic today. He looks very comfortable.
And that is a massive PR.
That was just smooth. And here's Sturgeon.
Sturge, can he get the press? And he does. Fantastic lift.
Excellent.
Out of both athletes, I'm really proud of Connor right now. That's a PR.
Wow, that was, it did not look challenging in any way.
Yeah, thank goodness.
I would not be surprised if he smoked 395 as well.
Well, that's the goal. You know, that's certainly the goal. So we'll see. The next on up, it looks like now we're going to have, let's see here. This is Jasper Henney in lane number 2. Oh, we have Nicholas in lane number 1. Okay.
There we go. Jasper's good with the clean. He's got a dip and drive, nice and smooth.
Great press.
That looked better than the last one.
It really
that
did.
That looked much better than the last one.
Nicholas right now is fighting for his life on that continental clean. Can he maintain the position?
He's in a rough spot with those hands. The bar is in his fingertips.
That's a hard place to press from unless you jerk.
Yeah.
Which I don't think he can get that today. So good work from Nicholas today, ending his session at 355 pounds.
Jasper really impressed me with that one. That looked better than the previous 2 weights.
Yeah.
And I'm just very impressed with that. The big difference that I saw in his dip and drive was his hip position. And it also where his shoulders were. He was able to stay a bit more under the bar. In the previous repetitions, his hips were drifting forward a little too far. Also, shoulders were laying back. It was bringing the bar in front of him. And that one, he just was able to efficiently dip, drive, and then utilize a little bit more of that whip in finishing the press.
And here we go, and Mark Sanchez getting the crowd hyped up, 375 pounds with a bit of a splat. Oh, a bit of a splatcher. Got lucky with that down call there. He was still moving.
I would agree. I wasn't going to say it, but you said it.
I will say it every time. I do not mind.
I do
real
agree.
lucky. Nicole's generous.
Yeah, you always want to make sure you hold that bar a little longer than the down call.
Yes, I would agree. And, well, now, I'll tell you what, the boys are going to a single lane now, and Erin Murray is their judge. Let me tell you something right now. She's not generous.
Oh, yeah. She's very strict.
Everybody hold it.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know, she's the current world's strongest woman in the 82-kilo weight class, a former world's strongest woman in the 72-kilo weight class, 73, pardon me, and a current Arnold amateur world champion in the heavyweight weight class. So if anyone knows about holding weight overhead, it's probably her.
Absolutely. All right, got some plates getting flipped.
I am proud to say that these are all my plates using for this event. For the weightlifting event.
These were your plates because I looked at them. I was like, are these new plates?
Yeah. Nope.
What's going on?
These bad boys sit in my garage. Before these gentlemen come on out here and lift some more weights, I want to take a few moments to thank some of our sponsors, and Gym Daddy providing us with fantastic shirts, Puget Town Pizza providing us with food, and frankly, just great quality sustenance for these athletes to compete, Cerberus Athletics for providing basically all the equipment used at this show to make it possible, higher power and strength for fantastic shirts and a beautiful message overall. Jack Squash Supplements, they are fantastic. Everyone should go check them out. They're in the back here in the arena. We also want to thank Maverick Sports and Spine Rehabilitation by Dr. Chiropractor John, who's out here helping all these athletes. God forbid if they get hurt, he's here to be first in line to help suit them out. Our primary sponsor in Dungeon Strength, being the, really the supporter of the show, the financer of the show, basically everything for the show. So thanks so much, Dungeon, for providing not only the community, but the expertise in creating an incredible environment for these athletes to compete for international contests. And EPH Hay for giving us this fantastic hay bale truck with thousands of pounds of weight on it. It just makes the venue look beautiful. It's so classic Pacific Northwest. So thank you to all our sponsors for helping support this beautiful contest.
Absolutely.
Now, based on everything we've seen so far, Mr. McCarley, overhead extraordinaire, expert, if you will, who do you see taking the top 3 in this? Now that we've seen some weights moved.
It might have been the 3 that I called to watch, or the 3 that I was most excited to see. I do think, I think Zach is going to be in the top 2. I think Andrew.
Zach Price.
Yep. I think Andrew and Jasper are going to be, depending on how they perform. I've only seen 2 lifts from Andrew. If he can make the adjustments contrling that whip, I think that he can.
I mean, he might be favored to win the event.
Weight. Yeah,
who knows?
Very, very possibly. But then again, I mean, Brett was so strong in that last repetition.
Yeah.
And again, like Jasper looks like he's figuring out how to utilize that whip appropriately. It is too early to tell.
Yeah,
I just have to say it's too early to tell.
It is. There's a lot of guys. And let's read over the names of the athletes who are still remaining in this contest thus far. We have Cody Lindsay, Andrew Clayton, Brett Thompson, Zachary Price, Josh Gregory, Joel Alexander, Sturgeon Anderson, Kenny Nichols, Connor Gordon, Mark Sanchez, and Jasper Haney. So we still have a pretty large field. Right now, we're at 395 pounds. So, just 2 kilos or 1.5 kilos under 400 pounds or 182 kilos. So this is going to be fun now. First on out, we have the Andrew Clayton. Now, this gentleman is a technical split jerker, so we'll see how he does.
Yeah, I do have to say, Kenny has impressed me. I didn't expect him to press like that.
Kenny Nichols?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He looks good for another 40 pounds.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm really surprised. I'm really excited. All right, Andrew Clayton up next. 395 pounds of the men's max barbell clean and press. I almost said excellent. Double overhand grip.
Very smooth. Nice and smooth dip, strong drive. Yes.
He's figured out the whip. Yeah, that was a lot better control of that oscillation. Easy repetition by Andrew.
He will, my prediction is he will hit 435 or 455.
I think the one thing that could stop him is his continental clean. I see each clean has dragged him forward, which means he's having a difficult time keeping his glutes over his heels as he dips and drives vertically.
Absolutely.
Which means his hips are going forward, right? So as that weight starts getting more exponential, it's going to be way harder to then run forward with 440, for example. So
I completely agree.
We have Cody Lindsay up next at 395 pounds. Cody Lindsay training at a Southside Barbell, coached by Adam Dirks, training partner of Evan Singleton.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice ability to rack that bar.
For real.
Strong
what
push
a
press.
routine press out of Cody Lindsay. He's prepared. He is prepared.
And I do agree on your assessment with Andrew Clayton as well. The thing that I would be most concerned with is his clean. And also when he is transitioning from the torso position to the rack position, you can see that it is pulling him off of his heels.
Yes.
He's getting pulled forward. I mean, and that can be really punishing.
Josh Gregory here already has the bar to his belt. That's a much harder continental clean, but we'll see if he has the press still left in him. It looks like he's losing stability.
Nope.
And that's it for Josh Gregory on the day. A fantastic repetition previously at 375, and just doesn't have the sauce for the 395 just yet.
Yeah, it did look like, I mean, sometimes a bar catches you wrong in the rack position. Kind of gets you a little on the clavicle.
Yeah.
And it'll kind of make you a little lightheaded. It did look like there's a little wobble there in the sense of when he caught it, it looked like it was very uncomfortable.
Next, we have Brett Thompson at 395. This is the heaviest he went up to in the gym. So let's see how our training is translated. I also coach Brett.
He looks very comfortable right here. Nice
and a great press. I'm super proud of that. Looks like Brett is good for at least one more lift, I'd say. I
would say so. I think he could very well do 415 in his next attempt.
I think probably would be the limit, if I had to guess.
I would agree. And that's one of the things with those push presses. It just depends on the athlete's strength profile, but a lot of times we see athletes that specifically push press. It's fast. It starts to slow down a little bit, and then it's a brick wall.
Up next, we have the girthy boy, Sturgeon Anderson, fantastic Pacific Northwest lifter. I'm really looking forward to seeing this young man's career develop. I believe he's only 20 years old or 21 years old.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's for sure under 21.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a young man, 21 or younger.
Tremendous potential.
Yeah, Sturge is a real future in the sport as long as he stays healthy. Former football player. Not too surprising. But here we go. This should be a big lift for him.
A bit of a narrow foot position.
Yeah.
And he stepped out just a little bit.
He just doesn't have the power today.
No. It looks like a little bit limited on his mobility as well.
I would agree.
He's dipping, his hips are pushing forward, he's putting way too much strain.
His feet just a little too narrow for him to have access to those legs.
Yeah.
Up next in the one and only lane, we have our boy, Zach Price. Zach Price at 395 pounds. Now, Zach is cleaning with an underhand as well, which I find interesting. But the incredibly easy power jerk out of Zach Price.
I do have to say, Zach's press is kind of creeping forward on him just a little bit when he's pressing, and I would say, if I were working with him, I would make sure he knows, bring that press back a little bit. You want up and back just a little bit, because when that weight gets a little heavier, it's going to pull him over his toes, and he's going to potentially lose a weight that is well within his ability.
Yeah. And for those listening, obviously, if you're listening, we're not quite critiquing these athletes. We're just giving more of an analytical display of what is happening, because this is the pro division. So anything we can say is, we're saying things that is actually poignant for someone of this caliber.
Absolutely.
It should be read as just sports commentary at that. So here we have Mark Sanchez coming up next, a very strong presser, 395 pounds in the bar. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Mark throughout this contest. Arguably the strongest legs in the room. Next to Lucas Hatton, probably.
He's got to recover that position. That's a difficult one to take there.
And that was happening due to the fact that as he's trying to dip and drive upward with that barbell, he's letting his hips just shoot straight forward as opposed to keeping it over his heels.
Yep, he's got to keep nice
and he bullies
recovery.
It. Wow.
He's got to get a drive it. Nope.
Oh. Okay, Mark went to grab his pectorals there a little bit. I hope he's okay.
That is a tough one because he's cleaned it twice.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And at that point, you know, you only have 30 seconds to finish this lift. And you know he's got to rush to the second clean. And once you've cleaned it twice, your legs are a little burned up.
Yeah, he just didn't have the energy for that. And I know this is going to be a PR for a press from the ground for Joel. So this will be huge for him. He's pressed over 100 pounds many times out of the rack. It's a matter of the clean. So this will be a huge rep for him.
Got to get a big bump here. He's got to get those elbows under.
Wow.
Here we go. Here he goes.
A lean back of the gods. He's going to strict press it.
Got to give a little bump. Yes, finish it. Hold that. Hold it. Hold it.
And Aaron Mary works him.
Very nice. He earned that.
Makes
he earned
him
that
wait, and he earned it. Way to go, Joel Alexander. Huge PR for Joel. And Connor Gordon up next. That's Connor Gordon coaches Joel. And I coach Connor. So I'm really hoping that this would be a massive PR for Connor. He needs to stay in his legs and trust himself to make this lift. He can do this.
He's got every ability to do that. And I just have to say, Joel, I mean, that he absolutely earned that. The discipline that he showed in holding that overhead,
yeah,
I love to see that. Like,
so here we go.
It's incredible. Here we go.
My heart is racing.
I think he's going to get this.
I hope he does.
Smooth. He's got to stay in the groove. He's got to finish it.
Just to stay in his legs here.
Yep. Got to really get a good drive. Push it. That's okay. That's okay. Another day, I think he has got that. I think he's fully capable of that.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, he's put himself in a bind here now, a bunch of tied points over there. But, you know, it is a PR clean for him. Truth be told, I think he might have rushed that dip and drive. I think he went in a little too early because the press was the easiest part of his pressing thus far. So, but you know what? Good attempt by Connor Gordon. Really proud of him. And Jasper with the most aggressive bell clean ever.
Big drive. Hold it.
And can he hold it?
He's got to hold it.
And that silly goose
his overhead position has improved so much.
Wow. What a press out of Jasper. What a press.
Yeah, his overhead position has improved so much. It used to be that he would have to lay back into the press, and he still has a little bit of that habit, but he's able to punch his head through.
Yeah.
Much more stable. He's able to, as you said, stack his joints and not force his muscles to do all of the work.
Right.
Much more efficient.
Yeah, good for Jasper there. And we are now going up to, is it 415 pounds that we're going to next?
It is 415 that we'll be seeing next.
Fantastic. This is huge weight. This is great. Interestingly enough, this is the weight that you would see for a pretty competitive weightlifting meet locally for heavyweight guys. You know, you would see guys right around the 180 kilo mark where it start be opening up. So it's interesting to see the strongman also achieving such numbers in what is essentially a regional championship as well, with a brutally different approach.
Absolutely. Yeah, nobody that's left in the field is doing a clean, and I don't think any of our heavyweight athletes have elected to do a clean. They're doing the Continental.
All of them. So to touch base on who's remaining in the contest thus far in this max barbell clean and press, we have Cody Lindsay, Andrew Clayton, Brett Thompson, Zachary Price, Joel Alexander, Kenny Nichols, and Jasper Haney. Kenny's still in, right?
I am not 100% sure.
We'll find out a little bit. But this competition is really shaping up to be something extraordinary, at least with this event in particular. I genuinely love this event because you never get to see a barbell for max in most strongman competitions, which is funny because it's the first and only tool that all of us use whenever we train.
Yeah, it's actually quite rare to see a clean and press with the barbell.
Yeah.
The only times I've really seen it is in a medley.
Right, I've seen that in the medley as well.
It's
I think
moderately
World Amateur had that featured, but OSG featured that as well.
Yeah, but typically very sub-maximal. And again, you're going to take a different approach if it is a sub-maximal weight versus trying to
because most folks then would power clean at that point. Just kind
of
right into a push press or split jerk. or whatever.
Yeah, save the time, move it swiftly, move on to the next thing. This is all about weight. What can you pick up and press over your head?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting now. We don't have many men left, so this is going to be quite dynamic. So I do believe Kenny Nichols is actually out. I don't believe Kenny Nichols is still in. Yeah, he's not, so I'm going to take his name off my list. All right, so Andrew Clayton will be the first athlete up to go over, to get after 415 pounds. If memory serves correct, this is 186.5 kilos. This is big weight. This is legit. This is now, we're starting to get into real strong territory. Andrew Clayton will continental clean and utilize a split jerk technique. He's not the largest man here, but arguably the most technically proficient, which allows him to creep and steal points in events like this from his fellow competitors who might be larger and stronger.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see this lift.
Yeah, this looks good. Now let's see the clean here. That was a better clean. He was able to keep his hips over his heels on that.
And here he goes, just trying to stabilize over the middle of the foot. Very nice. I would say a little rushed, but
I would say
very in his ability.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, I think we'll see 435 or 455 out of him.
We really could. It's definitely within his ability. If I were to critique that lift at all, I would say he actually rushed his dip. He went down a little too fast, in my opinion, which could steal away from that top end potential and create driving force upward. But to be perfectly honest, it was so easy for him, it didn't really matter. And here we have Cody Lindsay coming up next for what I believe is probably a PR for him. I don't believe Cody's gotten 415 in training, so this is going to be something special here for him. And ideally, he makes it.
Great work moving straight into it, utilizing the whip on the Continental.
Yeah, that was smart.
Intentionally.
Yeah, that was really smart. He's,
That's okay. Got a little lightheaded. Somebody needs to step in and grab him. Okay, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, Cody's just lightheaded. You know, and this happens all the time in sport. You know, sometimes that Valsalva maneuver and bracing will steal some of that oxygen. Maybe the belt's a little too tight, but you know, Cody, he looked strong up until that moment.
Absolutely. Was that Joel that hopped in and hopped in behind him?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Joel, excellent work right there. You know, sometimes we're lifting heavy. We got a lot of weight on the diaphragm. We're trying to breathe, and then, you know, we can't breathe. You kind of go out a little bit.
And this will be a PR if Brett Thompson hits this. I coach him. I would love for Brett to make this lift. He's a push presser.
This is possible. I do think it's possible. It's going to be towards the top end from what I saw. Strong drive, press. He made that look easier.
Yes.
Wow, that was very impressive.
From Brett Thompson. Really good lifts. That push press actually looked better than the previous one.
I agree. I was very surprised to see how easy that was.
Yeah, I thought that would be a lot harder. We have Zach Price up next as well, and something tells me this might be routine for Zach.
Now the question is, can he clean it? I think that's the big question. And can he keep the weight directly over himself? If he loses it, he's going to lose it forward.
No, that was
really nice.
What a great lift from Zachary Price of the Pacific Northwest.
Here we are with Joel. I do believe Joel could hit this. He's got to do it just right, though.
All the man needs to do is to turn over on that clean. If he can get in the front rack, he can press.
Yep.
That's just a fact.
He did swing for that strict press, the standing strict press for his first attempt on the last one.
And I hope he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I think if he does that, it's going to punish him, and he may not be able to regroup. He's got to give a dip and drive.
He's got to use his legs. He's got to use his legs here.
Even just a little bit. Even just a little bit of a dip and drive is going to make a huge difference.
Now, Joel of the Sweaty Pig as well, Salt Lake City, Utah. I'd love to see him make this lift.
He's got to give it one more bump, one more big bump, and commit to it. Commit to it. Yes, come on.
Oh my goodness. 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 Wow.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. He's got to give some leg drive. Here we go.
That was the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Push now. Oh, just a little out front. That's a long time to be under a weight.
I genuinely thought he was going to fold himself in half like a taco there. That genuinely scared the crap out of me. I hope he never does that again.
Oh, that was fantastic heart in that lift.
Joel,
zero quit.
When you listen back to this, just know I hated that and I love you. So great attempt. Please don't ever do that again. Up next, we have Jasper Haney.
All right, here we go.
Jasper staying in this contest in an event that really no one really anticipated him doing this well in.
He's got to give a smooth dip. He can't let those hips come too far forward.
That oscillation caught him.
Yeah.
It really set him off there.
He dipped a little too aggressively. The whip in the bar just gets more and more aggressive. And again, you know, as athletes are dipping under this weight, they have to really control that variable because a lot of them are not ready for it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, as these weights get more and more, just like you mentioned, that compounding effect of the oscillation only increases as we put more weight on the bar.
Yeah,
so and the thing is, you know, a lot of people, when they get excited, they just want to dip harder. They think they have to go harder into the bottom, which is the exact opposite of what you want to do.
Yep.
You want to pull yourself down as if you're loading your hamstrings and quads, and then blast straight up and catch that wave of the oscillation. So smooth down, fast up. But, yeah,
those are some of the exact same words that I use as
weird.
well.
It's almost like we're good coaches.
Smooth dip, aggressive drive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day.
And so we have a couple athletes left in the field right now. Going to be quite exciting. The Lucas Hatton cleaning off the bar, getting everything ready.
Yeah, but let them know now, okay? So we're going to give the athletes here a couple of minutes to recoup, give them a little bit more rest time because at this point we are down to Andrew Clayton and Zach Price. I just had Brett Thompson pull himself out of the event because he's feeling a little twinge, so we're going to save his body for the rest of the show. So we have two athletes remaining now, and Zach Price and Andrew Clayton. We're going to have a fun battle here and two very different approaches of technique.
Absolutely different presses. And this is a tough one.
It really is.
You know, which horse you betting on? Which stud, we'll say?
I'm going to give it to Zach Price.
You think so?
I think what will end up happening, I think Clayton has a way greater potential of more weight, but I fear that the clean will be just too much for his probably total body weight. If I had to guess, he's probably, I don't know if Clayton weighs over 300 pounds. So
I think he's right around 300.
Is he right around?
I think he's right around 300.
I'll say this. If he cleans it, he's going to get it. And I think, I don't know. I really can't call it. I really don't know.
He's gotta negotiate that whip.
Right.
Because it's going to be worse than the last one with that variable. And he was able to negotiate it with the last one, but that same adjustment that was made has to be made a little bit more.
Right, because it's only going to be worse. So,
yep.
I think Zach takes it purely just on the body weight assistance on the clean specifically. I think Zach will take it, but I do think Andrew's a better presser.
I think it's going to be really interesting if Andrew can be patient and he can also, make sure he's not rushing anything, especially receiving the bar, and recovering after the receiving the bar. I would put my money on Andrew.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad bet. The thing is, it comes down to that clean.
Yeah,
it's really all it's gonna come down to.
I see the two variables for Andrew. For Zach, I think he is good for 435, maybe 455. But the question is, can Andrew negotiate these next two lifts?
Right. So it looks like Andrew Clayton's about ready. He's using his smelling salts to stimulate that arousal level, get him nice and focused in this lift. He's now hitting himself in the face, so that will also stimulate arousal level.
I like him.
I think he's ready to lift.
Both of these athletes are very fierce competitors.
Yeah. And they're also very different. One is stoic as can be, and the other is not. So we're going to see some fun lifting out of them.
If I were these two athletes, I would probably hit this next weight and really have an actual discussion of, do we want to just split the points?
And we have 385 now. Is that our weight? No, I'm sorry, 435. We have 435 pounds. Let's see, can he get the clean?
He's going to probably,
and that's what I thought was going to happen, unfortunately. We couldn't negotiate that.
The clean is given some difficulty. That whip on the bar is so aggressive.
It's so different, especially the proper weightlifting bar. So that's kind of what I thought would happen based on his clean style. Now, can Zach get full points? Is it worth it, too? Is that worth it? We'll see. Zach looks ready. 435 pounds, just under 200 kilos for Zachary Price. Let's go.
Here we go. Nice and smooth now. Yep, he's got to give a big bump now.
Wow, great
and
clean.
here it is. He's just got to wrap it up. Got to stay centered on the foot. It's pulling him forward. Stay centered on the foot.
And it looks as though he was just so lightheaded he couldn't maintain position.
That is difficult. Three-way
tie.
tie.
He still got it out of his up top. He still locked it and had it under control. He just was so lightheaded. And yeah, you're right. We have a three-way tie for first now. Brett Thompson, Zachary Price, and Andrew Clayton. A really fantastic display of pressing and power here from all these athletes. This tie is going to make the points much interesting as the events go on throughout the rest of the day and tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So that said, that was a fantastic expression of overhead from our adaptive athletes, our middleweight women, our middleweight men, and our heavyweight amateur pro-am division. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Barbell Clean and Press Max. My name is Alec Jose. This is my partner in crime, Zach McCarley. We'll be back soon enough for our next event, which is going to be a sandbag trump ladder. Please tune in for that, and I'll see you guys soon.
Catch you guys soon.
Okay. And here we go with our adapted division. Our two athletes out right now. In lane number 1, we have Aaron Baker. And in lane number 2, Dante Peoples fighting for a sandbag to shoulder. For those who are unaware, we have an adaptive athlete division here at the Rainier Pro Show. An opportunity for all types of peoples to compete and have fun. Dante's looking like he's opting to stop there. Aaron Baker still at it. What a great performance out of both these two athletes. My name is Alec Jose. I'm one of your main commentators today. And I'm so glad to be presenting the Rainier to you. Feeling a little winded after I had to run over here. All right. Our next two athletes in lane number 1, we'll have Joey Beltran, and lane number 2, Damon Rouser. Now again, these are the adaptive athletes division. These athletes train full-time and for free at Dungeon Strength as a sponsored program to allow people of all shapes and sizes and ability, more importantly, to compete and have a good time. Damon out here sharing a message with the crowd with his training partner, Joey. And here we go. 60 seconds to get the sandbag to shoulder for as many repetitions as they can. Now Damon is out here still getting those reps, pushing as hard as he can. And Joey getting to the lap position here, doing a fantastic job fighting in that midline there. Oh, just missing for Joey. Damon just muscling it on up to the shoulders there, doing a great job. They're almost done. These boys working their best right now. And our Special Olympics division doing a great job representing their ability and love for strength sport. And Joey gets it at the end there. Yes, for Joey. What a great performance. Oh, I love the no quit of the guy. Gotta love it. Gotta love that performance there. Great job to Damon Rouser and Joey Beltran. Fantastic work. All right. That concludes our adaptive division sandbag to shoulder for reps event. Coming up on next, we have the Pro-Am divisions. And in the Pro-Am divisions, it will not be a sandbag for reps in the traditional sense. It will be a triple trump event. And what that means is athletes have 3 options to get reps on. Now, let's say they pick that heaviest option. For example, which is for the open weight, for the middleweight women, the heaviest option is 250 pounds. Any athlete that gets 1 or more repetitions on that bag will beat any athlete that gets on any repetitions on the weights lower. However, we have a bit of a caveat to this event. Let's say you get 1 repetitions at the heaviest bag possible, but you're not able to get another. You could now go down in weight, so in this case the 225, and get reps there. And we'll then track the accumulated total points. So that makes for a nice little twist of things. So coming out next in that division, the first 2 athletes up next would be Rachel Peterson and Alicia Martin. Both of these athletes are Pacific Northwest athletes, professionals out of Dungeon Strength. Both have podiumed. Alicia has 1 nationals. Rachel's also podiumed at nationals. Both athletes have competed internationally and on the national circuit, and both have done quite well. So these are both very proficient strong women in the 180-pound women's division. Alicia is also a former champion in the women's 160, national champion in the women's 160 division, 73 kilos. Right now she's competing at 82 kilos. So again, we have Rachel Peterson and Alicia Martin out here competing on the floor. This is going to be really exciting to see what bags they choose to do and what strategy they elicit with those rules that I just lessened. So let's see here. It seems as though Alicia's going straight for that 250, and it looks as though Rachel is going for the 200-pound bag, if I'm reading this correctly. Alicia's doing a great job of getting that bag close in the shoulders. Rachel has already gotten 1 rep on the lightest bag. Odin is fighting for that bag in the middle here. She has to get some more popping, get a vertical in chest, and then push. She needs one more big one, and she's there with 1 rep on the shoulder at 250. She could do this. She just needs to stabilize now and get her hand off. She cannot let go, and she gets the rep. What a fantastic showing for Alicia Martin. Rachel has now opted to go up in weight to the 225. Martin is going to take repetitions now at the lighter bag to accumulate greater points. This would be a massive weight for Rachel if she could get this. I know this would be a big one for her. Alicia is fighting now for that rep as well. Rachel's almost there. She needs to keep staying with it. She can do this. She can get it. Martin is nearly there. Oh, and Rachel just misses out. And Alicia is just past the buzzer as well. Great performance out of both ladies. Rachel getting a single repetition at 200 pounds. Alicia getting a single repetition at 250 pounds, which is the heaviest of the 3 options. Fantastic performance out of these 2 athletes. Again, to repeat, the options they have in front of them is 250, 225, and 200. So now we have 2 monster competitors in Nancy Johnson and Nadia Stowers. Nancy Johnson, the current world's strongest woman in the women's 73-kilo weight class. Nadia Stowers, a 2-time world's strongest woman in the women's 82-kilo weight class, and recently just hit podium at the Arnold Pro Show in England against actual giants. So Nadia, isn't the idea of lifting incredibly heavy things is not foreign to her. Now, seeing such competitive and athletic athletes going after this, this is going to be special. This is going to be fantastic between these 2 athletes who both have their own abilities and skills, and it's going to be real joy to see what they elect to do here. I know for a fact Nadia is incredible at this, and I know Nancy is brutally athletic, so I can't wait to see this battle. Let's see here. Okay, I didn't quite anticipate this. Nancy Johnson going for the 225 bag. Nadia is going for the 250. She has it in the lap. She's extending. She's fighting now in the middle here. Whoa, this fight looks brutal here for Nadia. This is interesting. Can she maintain? No, she's going to get it. She's going to fight. And that is... This is a bit of a strategic... This is a bit of a strategic mistake, in my opinion, for Nancy, because if she'd just done a single rep, she would have tied Alicia Martin. And now she cannot do any better than 3rd, no matter what. Interesting. Nadia opting to get more reps to outright have the win. However, if she were to do 1 more at the 225, she'd also have the win. See, this is where strategy really comes into play here. It really does. Because if Nadia fails to do this, Alicia Martin will have the event win. Can she do this? Is Martin going to steal this event win from a world's strongest woman? And she does. Because of the lack of strategy, Alicia Martin just won the event. Alicia just won the event. That was absolutely incredible. This is not something that one would generally anticipate. That was unbelievable because Alicia strategized the 250, then 225. She steals that event. Incredible. Incredible. What a display of strategy there. See, this is where things like this comes into play. It's not enough to be a world's strongest swimmer. It's not enough to be brutally strong. You have to manipulate the event to your advantage. And that was outstanding. That was really outstanding. What a fantastic display of ability out of these ladies. So now we're getting a little bit of a reset time in. We're going to bring out our middleweight Pro-Am division, the men's class. First on up, we will have Derek Brooks and Melvin Memba. Melvin, I love you so much. You're literally my friend that I can't say your name. He's a great guy. Melvin, we love him. Melvin's one of the best 105s in the world. He's taken top 20 within his weight class at World's Strongest Man 105. He originally represented Zambia when he competed. He now lives in the United States. And Derek Brooks, another former Dungeon Strength member who recently just moved, but we love him dearly. A fantastic athlete. Looking forward to watching him compete all weekend. So now the bags that we'll use for the men's 105 division class, and it's basically the 105 kilos, so that's 231 pounds. The bags that these gentlemen will use will be 275, 300, and 350. That's big weight. That's huge weight. Any middleweight that grabs a 350 is a brutally strong human being. That's absolutely outstanding. So I'm really looking forward to see which one of these gentlemen will have the gumption to go after something like that. That's going to be incredible. Now, I can't wait to share some of the results here with my partner in crime, Zach McCarley, because I think he's going to be astounded at what just happened. Now, Zach,
What just happened?
if my calculations are correct, which I believe they are, Alicia Martin just beat 2 World's Strongest Women in the Triple Trump event.
Oh my gosh, I just missed that.
Yeah, you did. You're a good coach. So what just happened was a lack of strategy playing by the 2 World's Strongest Women.
Well, we did talk strategy.
We talked about how the strategy
5 minutes
important.
ago.
So what happened was Alicia came out here, hit 250, then went down to 225 and got a single rep in. Nancy Johnson just did reps at 225, which isn't enough to beat the 250. And Nadia Stowers, the former world champion at 82 kilos, failed her second rep at 250. So Alicia came in with strategy and won the event. Utterly incredible. Good job, Coach. You nailed it.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, very well done, Alicia.
Now we have Melvin and Derek Brooks, both Dungeon Strength members, both loved members of this community, both going for the 300-pound bag. So this is going to be really fun to watch here. Melvin is opting to do repetitions at the 300-pound bag. Derek is also opting to do repetitions at the 300-pound bag. So this is interesting here. So these boys are hedging their bets that they can get enough points. And with an event like this, Zach, what are you looking for? What do you see?
As far as technical performance,
Yeah,
or
yeah. Strategy. What do you think is going to end up being the best working strategy here for a lot of these athletes?
Well, I mean, I am saying it a lot today. I'll probably say it a lot tomorrow. It really depends on the individual. You know, we have some athletes that are really strong for 1 or 2 repetitions, other athletes that are only good for 1, and still other athletes that can just go all day.
Right.
You know, I would highly suggest that if an athlete is looking to hit a really big number out here, that you hit at least very close to that in the back room.
Right.
And one of the reasons is you want to control the number of variables that you change all at once. You want to minimize that as much as you can. And when you're going from a back room that's warming up to an actual competition stage,
Yes.
that is a variable change.
Right.
So,
You're right.
So if you feel very, very confident coming into it, then you're going to want to at least hit 1 weight underneath what you're going to hit in the back, and then you can change 2 variables. If you're not quite so confident, hit the weight that you want to hit in the back, confirm what it feels like, come out, and perform.
Right. I completely agree with that.
You're still changing only 1 variable, but that variable change can mess with some athletes, so it depends on the athlete, what their skill level is with competition, like we were talking about earlier in the day, and then what their actual physical ability is.
Right. And the athletes that are out right now, by the way, is Nick Cannell and Dylan Dutcher, just so everyone knows what's happening on the screen here. Both of these athletes are amateurs trying to get their pro cards. Seems as though Nick Cannell is going to opt to stop. He had a bit of a fall there, I just witnessed.
Yeah.
Might have just took the energy out of him. And Dylan here is opting just to stay with repetitions.
Very impressive.
Fantastic. I do believe Dylan just got reps at 350.
He did,
Those
yeah.
just reps at 350.
Very strong.
Yeah, he's an interesting competitor, that one. He's brutally athletic in certain areas. You know, he's a really strong guy. The next 2 athletes out will be Damian Capadoni and Tyler Buxton. Tyler Buxton being a local athlete to the Pacific Northwest, another fantastic athlete who's basically a pro. Fantastic watching Tyler Buxton compete at shows like Nationals, Arnold Amateur, things like that. And I'm unfamiliar with Capadoni, but he impressed me with his pressing today. One gentleman opting for the Japanese style, the other opting for the horizontal pick. I love watching these 2 very different approaches for the same event.
Yeah, he's got to stay with it. He's got to keep those hips under the bag. He lost that and he's losing a little consciousness.
Yeah, yeah.
Mostly lost that due to his hips being back, though.
Sure.
But it just overloaded him out front. He's got to regroup. He's got to get this. He is very capable of this. Tyler Buxton is a very strong athlete.
Yeah, Tyler's going to get some good work in here. That is a 350-pound bag he's opting to lift.
I would have adjusted
he needs
the hands
a
a little lower. He's sticking with it much better. He's got to hold it.
And he needed that. He needed that for points on the board.
That. Yes, I completely agree. I think he's very capable of 2 repetitions with that, but with that first one,
right,
you got to go with this lighter weight get that repetition real quick.
So he just did the very responsible and smart move. He got 1 repetition at the 350, knew he didn't have enough time, goes to the 300, and gets that 1 additional rep. That 1 additional rep might give him 3 to 4 places.
I completely agree with you, and also that is what you would call a pro move.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pro move.
Like
yes.
half pun intended,
Yeah,
we'll say,
exactly.
but like that was exactly how you game that. That was fantastic. I'm very pleased to see that move. Excellent situational awareness, A++.
Right. Yes, A++. All right, so the next 2 athletes we will have in the men's Pro-Am division in the 105 kilo class, the 231-pound weight class. We will have Jacob Ferry in lane 1 and Darren Ravito in lane number 2. Darren being coached by Zach McCarley.
Darren's going to kick your butt for saying his name wrong
I
all these
keep on
times.
doing it, I know.
It's all good.
He'll be...
So he's really got to get that above the knees and sit it on there. He's got to bring it nice and close to the hips. Want those hands a little lower before he transitions. He's got to fight for this now if he's going to go for that.
That's going to be hard to save.
Yep.
But Darren's sticking with it.
He might be able to. He's got to drop the hips, bring him up. Keep fighting with it.
Oh, he's got no quit.
Stay with it.
The boy's got no
with it.
Oh, what a save from Darren Ravito. Said his name right that time.
No, it's fantastic.
Jacob Ferry deciding to go down to 300.
Himself. He's got to get that 300. Good to 300.
Coach out here.
300.
Coach out here trying to get his athlete to go to 300. Jacob Ferry opting to stay at repetitions at the 300-pound bag.
He's rolling in his lap. That is trouble. You can see the 350 took a lot out of him, but that's going to be decent. That's going to be solid
big points. Yeah, it's still his big points.
350 is not an easy bag to shoulder.
No, that was really impressive, truth be told. Not bad at all. Opting to do it in socks, no less.
That was quite good.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with that. That was a PR.
Oh, was
it? That's his second PR on the day.
Okay, that's great.
Very pleased.
Then he's being successful.
Yep.
Now we have Ben Claridad and Jesse Campbell, the 2 fantastic cleaners, weightlifters, if you will, coming up next. It'll be interesting to see what Ben goes for. I know sandbag to shoulder is not his favorite event, but I think he's capable of at least a 350 here, depending on how his warm-ups went. And I'm going to have my compatriot in crime, Zach McCarley, give some notes here while I give an athlete some critiques.
Absolutely. So we have Jesse Campbell and Benjamin both working on the sandbag, both working with the 350. And Jesse's trying to negotiate that into position. His elbow dropped just a little bit. Benjamin has it down with the 350. That is some big points. He's taking a breath, and he's going to go take a risk. He's going to go for that 350 a second time. He must feel quite confident with that. Jesse Campbell still working on that 350. He's got to really get that elbow up. His body position's a little off. Good move going to the 300 for Jesse. And Ben, Ben took that risk, and he's going back down to the 300. And he's got to get this to separate himself in the field. Very difficult showing for Jesse right there. Really put a lot of eggs in the basket at 350, and it just did not quite pan out. That's a tough one to take. But there's still a lot of competition left in the weekend. Still very capable of making up some points. Ben with a huge 350 sandbag to shoulder. That was quite impressive, actually. Again, Ben is from a weightlifting background, which makes it even more impressive that he so effectively was able to lift that. We have Mike O'Connor up in lane 2 and Garrett Payne in lane 1.
Here we
Both
go.
of them taking on the 350.
This is
different styles.
And Mike O'Connor was really low on that pick for the Japanese style, but gets it to his lap really comfortably. Mike O'Connor with a fantastic extension and jump, and a great first rep at 350. Garrett Payne opting for that horizontal approach, still fighting in that midsection here with it.
It's always tough to get with that horizontal approach, it's really hard to get those long bags because you have to swing it in front of the body or swoop it up to the same side.
Right.
It's so much better to go with that Japanese style, the vertical style pick and to the shoulder. There's 2 at 350 for Mike O'Connor. That is some excellent points.
And I think as of right now, that locks him for second place. But now he's opting to go to the 300-pound bag. And now, I will say the 300-pound bag in this lane in particular is incredibly floppy.
I agree. I noticed that with
Darren.
I noticed that with Darren's pick. It really wanted to fold, and you know, this is some of that situational awareness that comes in, especially when you reach the pro level. When you're looking at your equipment and you see that, you may have to switch your style,
right?
Because the bag itself is what is going to dictate some of your style, some of the technique that you take. So with that bag, it may be more advantageous to take a horizontal pick and a sweep to the shoulder as opposed to that Japanese style where it's vertical pick and then straight up to the shoulder.
Right.
Lucas is announcing something. I can't quite understand what he's saying, but that's all right. We have some athletes getting ready for some very heavy bag to shoulder.
Tell him not to do these. He's over there straight ahead. Just tell him not to. He's done. Please. So some of these guys are going to get their last warm-ups in out on the field. Wanted to touch the 400 a bit.
That's
maybe the 350.
Fantastic opportunity.
But yeah, if you can do.
You know, we were talking earlier about warming up, strategy. I mentioned a bit about isolating variables and like minimizing the number of them that you change all at once. When you get the opportunity to warm up on a field like this, it gives you a feel for what the actual environment is like, what the footing is like, what it's like to be in front of the crowd, what the actual bags feel like. All of these things, you know, a warm-up bag in the back could be a little bit different than the warm-up or than the actual bag that you're lifting, in the way that it's packed, in the way that it feels, in the texture of the canvas. All of these variables can play into changing your actual performance when you are lifting it.
Yeah, in fact, the matter is these bags out on the field are incredibly packed well right now because they have to be for the weights of this magnitude. And these guys might find, oh no, 400 pounds is doable right now with these sort of bags. Like Connor Gordon was out there warming up. Looks like that bag was comfortable for him. I know Connor's going to go for the 400 pounds for at least once. Interesting results here with these boys. I know this event is one of those events that will very much shake up every single point if the gentlemen are off by one decision. You cannot make a mistake here based on emotion.
Yeah, this style, you know, as Alec was saying, this style of event matters. It matters very much the type of strategy that you take on. And, you know, we saw that with the middleweight women. And if you have a strategy that is focusing on you, that is beneficial. But you want to have a strategy that is within focusing on you while also making sure that you are assessing the field and what's going on. And you can make real-time adjustments depending on when you actually come out. So one of those things would be, say, one of the athletes elected to lift the 300-pound bag for 2 repetitions. You know, that may, if you know that you can get the next weight up, you may decide to only hit that bag for 1 and then shut it down, or hit the bag for 1 and then hit the 300 and call it and not go all the way up to the really, really heavy bag because you don't necessarily need that extra exertion. We have another event coming up today. So, you know, the strategy is important to have, but know that as you are getting into the competition and you're going through the competition, that's part of the skill of competition, is being able to make those calls and having the experience to make effective calls. And with that being said, we got the bags all set for the field. Judges are just chatting a little bit. Ryan's announcing a couple things. All right. Looks like athletes are lining up. Again, we want to take an opportunity to thank a couple of our sponsors. Puget Sound Pizza, wonderful pizza. If you're ever in the Tacoma area, go grab some pizza from them. Delicious stuff. We also want to thank Cerberus, one of the longtime sponsors of Strongman everywhere, but especially here. These are the Cerberus bags that we are using, Cerberus sandbags. Excellent product. Really hold up to a lot of punishment. They have throwing sandbags. They have belts that you can purchase. They have soft belts. They have knee wraps. They have elbow wraps. They have wrist wraps. They have sandbags like you're seeing out on the competition field. They got all kinds of stuff. So be sure to check them out. And with that being said, we've got a couple athletes coming out now.
And who are our first 2 athletes out here now?
So I'm going to have to look at our little cheat sheet. Looks like we have Kenny Nichols and Andy Nyberg up. Kenny in lane 1 and Andy in lane 2.
Fantastic
Andy
first
making
rep.
quick work of that 300.
And we have a first gentleman going for the 400-pound bag there.
Ooh, that's going to be a very impressive
And Kenny
lift.
Nichols, can he do it? Going for the crossbody approach. If he stays over his hips, he could do this.
He's got to
Kenny
commit to
get
it.
that rep?
He's got to keep those hips forward
Keep
and give
pushing,
it a little
Kenny.
bump. He's gotta-
Kenny, keep
Yep,
pushing.
Yes, that's the bump we need. One more and hips fell back. Hips fell back. That's okay.
And that's a gamble. That's the gamble they take, either 0 or win. You know.
Yeah. Well, you can see that Andy is elected to just rep that out.
Yeah, Andy Nyberg is getting repetitions here. And frankly, it's probably the smartest move. Maybe he knows, 300 or 350 rather, just out of the cards.
Yeah.
But really
yeah.
excellent performance.
And that's a great example of knowing what's in your wheelhouse, knowing what you are capable of. And he probably decided that 350 was a little too much to risk, and that there were going to be a couple other guys that couldn't quite get 350, and he was just going to burn up that 300-pound bag. He's going to set a mark to beat. He knows that there's going to be a couple people that miss, and he knows that that is going to be good for points.
And ultimately, he now has points because that one gentleman 0.
Yeah, he's got at least 2 points.
Yeah.
At
So now we
least 2
have
points.
Christopher Olive in lane number 1 and Nicholas Tokarowski in lane number 2. One going for 400 pounds. Well, both gentlemen going for the 350-pound bag. One horizontal, one Japanese style.
Very nice. Excellent shoulder by Christopher. That was nice.
Absolutely.
And Nicholas is coming up with the bag.
Nicholas with a great first rep here.
Very nice.
Christopher is already on rep number 2. All right, now Nicholas made a smart move. He opted, okay, that's enough for me. I'm now going to get reps. I'm now going to get reps at the 300-pound bag, right? Which puts him ahead of the first gentleman in Andy because of that, because he already hit that one bag ahead. So, again, this is where the strategy plays.
All right, that is a deep lap position from Nicholas. That's fun to see. I like that.
Yeah. And we have a real fight here. Christopher's fighting. I know his judge is going to make him hold it there, and she did. It's a great repetition by Christopher to finish off. He did quite a few reps at that 350. That was a great performance out of Nicholas Olive. Christopher Olive, pardon me. Our next 2 athletes out will be Josh Gregory and Sturgeon. This will be fun because Josh Gregory is very talented at sandbags. And frankly, he's in shape right now. So I'm looking forward to see this. If Sturge goes for the 400, which it's looking like he wants to, I'd be so impressed because that's a huge bag. And he's a younger strongman in terms of his training career.
He's so powerful, though. So powerful. Such incredible potential. He just reminds me of having chatted with him a couple times. He's a very chill dude, number 1.
Whoa, Josh Gregory just throws that
my
400 to the
goodness.
shoulder like it's a choke. Sorry to interrupt you, Zach.
No, it's all good. Okay, Sturgeon's got to fight for this.
Sturgeon's fight.
He's got to really be aware of where he's at. Yep, that's the move.
Let's
That's
go
the
down
move.
now.
Got to go get that 350 points. Points is what we're after now.
Josh Gregory is letting everyone know he's here to party on this event.
That is impressive. And, I don't know if he got that one.
His judge might have just given him the
I
down.
saw the hand come down.
If she moves her hand, she's likely to give it, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it was just on the edge.
Even if it was a call that is not in agreement with many people, the judge is the person that has the final call on
Right.
it. because if they give a down, it needs to be respected that the athlete understood it to be a down.
Right, and I believe he more than likely got that second rep.
Yeah, it was right there, but the elbow was kind of dropping. It was a tricky one, and also his elbow was in a bit of a weird position. With a big bag like that, sometimes it can be hard for a judge to get that call just right. But
and our next athletes
regardless, that was super impressive.
Very impressive. Our next athletes out will be Connor Gordon and Mark Sanchez. I will be having heart palpitations in this because Connor needs these reps. But both these athletes are so brutally strong. Let's see how this goes. You might have to speak a little more than me right now because I am nervous. Connor needs this. Mark Sanchez going for 350.
Okay, Mark is good for 350, and there's one. And Connor is going for the 400. That is up there. He's got to stabilize it, make sure he's got it. Nice. Yeah, and so Connor's taking a moment, taking a breath, making sure he's got time. Very wise call. Yep, and that's what he's got to do. Yeah. And in the meantime, we have Mark Sanchez hitting 350 for repetitions. He's got to stabilize it, make sure he waits for that down call. Beautiful.
All right, Connor Gordon's going for that second rep here. This will put him in the lead for the event.
Yeah, and he's got to hurry up. He's a little short on time. He's got to sweep it across the face and stabilize. He's got to hold it, and that was perfectly done.
And he gets it.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Great job by Connor Gordon.
That was perfectly timed. Like,
yeah, that couldn't have been better.
To the second.
Massive PR. Connor didn't do that once in the gym.
Ooh.
Not a single rep. So that is going to really shake the points for him because he knew he ultimately fell short of his goal in the press. So he had to come back and make up some ground here. And he did. So now we're going to see some interesting results here.
That's fantastic.
All right, our next two athletes out will be Cody.
How are those heart palpitations?
I'm having a heart attack right now.
Help me.
Cody Lindsay and Joel Alexander. Now, I know Joel's going to more than likely go for the 350. It's a little bit more than his wheelhouse, but Cody Lindsay in the gym has posted repetitions at 400 pounds. He's posted some crazy results.
He's built well for this.
And he has incredible grip. Look at this. He's already on his lap. He's already...
Oh, my goodness. That was fast.
And Cody Lindsay uses the technique that I prefer. Instead of going cross-body, he immediately gets it right to the shoulder that's right there, and it's so much faster of a load.
I am very impressed with the composure of Cody.
And he's a young athlete.
Took a step back, and said, you know what? I'm gonna get ready for the second one, rack up the second one.
So now
Great
he's tied
discipline.
for first.
And now he's gonna go for another. There's no question.
And now he's gonna go lighter.
To
steal first place. Cody Lindsay,
honestly,
with a very mature approach.
That is the conservative, mature approach.
Oh, nope, never mind.
That's where I would go. That's where I would go.
400.
With the way he moved with that 400, I would put the exclamation mark on it.
I think I'd tell him to go lighter, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I would love that.
He popped it up. He's gonna get this. He's just got to stabilize it.
And he does.
There
wow. Cody Lindsay with 3 repetitions at 400 pounds, 182 kilos. Really stamping his name on the event.
Just sent it. Like, just absolutely.
That was really cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that second one, I was like, he needs that. Like, he needs that third repetition.
Right.
And he's got, he's probably looking at who's up next.
Right.
Andrew Clayton is up
and
next.
And Jasper Haney. And we both know Jasper's incredible at this.
And Jasper, yeah. Both of these guys are incredible at shouldering sandbags. Both of them incredible loaders. Andrew Clayton is really fun to watch. I would not be surprised if he hit 4 with this. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he's so technical with sandbags in particular. I'm hoping he feels fit enough to get exactly what he wants. That was a beautiful Japanese-style pick. Oh, he's going to smoke this event. That was really good. And look how he puts it down right in position. Jasper Haney with a good first rep. Look how he puts it down exactly where he wants to pick again.
For people at home, they may not know this, but there are like different echelons of skill of competition.
There's levels to this.
Andrew
is at the highest of levels.
He's in that top echelon.
So Andrew,
he's controlling the bag down in such a way that he is intentionally setting up the next repetition.
And he's already tied for first.
Sorry. He's not just He's asking how many did he get.
Because he just wants to make sure he's ahead of Jasper, who I believe is on his second repetition.
And Jasper is incredible at this, by the way. You know, both these athletes incredible, but Andrew being
going
probably, Andrew being, I would say undeniably one of the best in the world at this.
Absolutely, and he just got the 4th rep at 400 pounds.
With the flex.
What?
And what did I say?
Well, all right, little bit
little
of a
flourish on there, but
he made sweet love to the bag. It's fine.
How many reps did I say? How many reps
4?
did I say?
No, you called it. You know your boy. You know your boy.
You know, I just saw that coming. I knew that somebody hit 3, and he's going to say 3.
What an
I'm going to hit 4.
outstanding display of power by our open class men there. That was genuine. That was brilliant.
This celebration just got me laughing.
It was a little much.
It was a little much.
So I might have to clean that bag. But that was really, honestly, what a beautiful display of really just technical prowess and gaming out of Andrew Clayton.
It was flawless.
Now, our last athlete to come out is Zachary Price. He's in the lead of this competition as of right now, tied for the lead with Andrew Clayton. So this is going to be really interesting now. Zach is clearly opting to do the 400 as well. Zach needs a minimum of 2 to maintain his lead.
How many points down was he?
Well, he's tied.
Okay.
He's tied. So actually, no, pardon me, he won't maintain his lead unless he has got to hit 4. Pardon me, to keep tied.
Yeah, and so there are some serious points, like there could be serious points separating someone who can and can't hit 400 at this point.
Absolutely.
So he has to hit this 400. He's plenty strong enough to do it.
And he does it, I would say, easily.
That's impressive.
He's going to want 2. He's going to want at least 2 to get in front of Connor Gordon, which at least tie with Connor. If he could do 2 and then a lighter one, he's now solidly in the top 4.
Absolutely. And I've got some major. I'm impressed with Zach. I'm very impressed with him. Notice him flip the bag. He's going to flip it horizontal. Right. He is setting the bag up for his next repetition. That is calculated.
Again,
it is composure under pressure.
It's that high-level skill. You were just talking knowing how to compete. Knowing what he needs this rep now. This rep secures him into a good spot for day 2.
Yep.
And it looks like he might get it.
And you know, he's looking a little tired right here, but if he goes for it,
no, he's good. He's playing it smart. He knows his strengths.
Yep.
That was a brilliant display of competing out of Zach Price, tying with Cody Lindsay, getting just
10,
ahead of Connor Gordon, and maintaining a top 2 position in the show.
That was those 2 last heats were 10 out of 10 gaming.
Yeah, exactly.
Like perfect. Literally perfect. I love to see that. Like, that's some of my favorite thing. Like that's my favorite thing to see in strongman.
Yeah, and just to go over some of the things we watched in the middleweight division as well. You know, again, we now have. Oh well, our scorecards are not working, but I can just tell you. You know, Alicia Martin beating 2 World Strongest Women. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's incredible, and that's why these pro-ams are so important, because it gives opportunities for people who maybe aren't as known or might not be pros, even though Alicia is, a spot in the light, if you will. Because we don't post highlights of this. When people see that 2 World Strongest Women got beaten by a relatively unknown, they're gonna want to know who that person is. They want to watch that person, want to support that person, and that's what's great about shows like this. And for our open men here, going off memory, you know, Andrew Clayton taking the win with 4 repetitions. We have Cody Lindsay getting 3 repetitions, Zachary Price getting 3 repetitions, Connor Gordon getting 2 repetitions. So that's a brilliant top 4 there. And just gaming, you know, Connor taking a little bit longer to get those 2 because he knew he didn't have the ability similar to his peers. But again, that's what strategy comes down to. Everything. You may not be as good as your peers, but if you could think better than them, you'll be right up there.
Absolutely, yeah. If you and also the advantage of going later in the field, knowing what the mark to beat is, knowing your own capabilities, and then working within those capabilities, and having an accurate assessment of what that capability is.
Right, and I would like to point out that I did pull out Brett Thompson from the competition. Pulled him out. Brett had a little bit of a twinge in his brachialis, and we felt it wasn't worth it to continue the whole show because it's a very grip and form-intensive show. So, you know, he's going to pull out for the sake of longevity, get that healed up, and compete later on in the year.
I think that's a wise call.
Yeah, you know, it's not a fun call, but it's the one you need to do when you're kind of at these levels, because one slip, and I know you know this, one slip up and you're out for a whole year.
Yeah, absolutely. No, these weights don't play.
No. So that
It's
being,
still play.
so that being said, we're going to sign off quickly to let our loaders get ready for the the OG medley used here at the dungeon, the Rainier Classic. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please come back in just a few short minutes. We're going to have an incredible display of our adaptive athletes, our middleweight women, middleweight men, and our open class men. Thank you so much for joining us.
Excellent. We'll see you guys shortly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at this year's 4th annual Rainier Classic. We've had a hell of a competition thus far today. And right now, we're going into that OG, the original medley feature at the very first Rainier Classic. This event, if you haven't seen it in the earlier competition thus far in the amateurs, features a yoke for 25 feet down, 25 feet back, into a keg load, into a sandbag load. That will change, however, for just the open men, but for every other class, it will be keg into sandbag. Open men will be sandbag into heavier sandbag. Now, what's really fascinating about this event, you're just tuning in now, you can hear me and my partner, Zach McCarley, who isn't here yet, talk about some of the dynamics of this event, is the features of many different modalities. Now, running under load, picking up odd objects and running with them, and then eventually loading these odd objects over the handlebars, or the crossbar, I should say, of this yoke apparatus, which means the height that you pick for your yoke run will completely determine the difficulty of loading this odd object over the bar. So there's so many things to think about, so many different strategies, which makes it for so dynamic. Right now, in our adaptive class, we have Aaron Baker in lane number 1 and Dante Peoples in lane number 2. Both of these gentlemen train at Dungeon. They're both adaptive and special Olympic athletes. It is so fantastic to be featuring these competitors here in this contest today. And Dante with a blistering yoke. I love it. He's doing so good. And he's going right over to his odd object load now. Dante with the wild and beautiful red hair. And our boy Aaron just finishing up the yoke as well, confidently walking over to the keg. Dante could do this. He's going to run on over with the keg now. He has a bit of a mixed grip approach. Now we're going to see him get nice and close, sit down, grab the front of the keg, and ideally and hopefully load that over. It's a very hard task, but we believe in these guys. They could do it. It'll be very difficult, but these athletes have been training really hard for this event at Dungeon Strength weekly, and we really believe in them here. And Aaron getting the first one over with a beautiful load. Yes, Aaron Baker, lane 1, our Special Olympics athlete, kicking some ass. Dante still working on that keg. It just goes to show you just how difficult it is, and Dante gets it too. Let's go. This is amazing. Aaron is now running over with the sandbag in a really good position. I think he could do this. Can he push it over? And he does. That's fantastic work by Aaron Baker. All right, now Dante Peoples getting that pick. You know, the pick off the floor is a very challenging aspect of the sandbag run and load and carry. And he opts to stop there. Great performances out of both of these athletes in our Special Olympics division. Absolutely loved it. Great stuff. Really wonderful performance. It is a real joy for Dungeon to feature the Special Olympic athletes here. We've had a great first heat. Back joining me, my partner in crime, Mr. Zach McCarley. And we just watched a really fun heat there in Dante Peoples and Aaron Baker. Aaron finishing the whole thing, and Dante getting the keg over. It was really fantastic.
Excellent.
You should have seen Aaron's extension with that keg. He fought for a while there, like about a whole 20 seconds fighting, and eventually got it. It was a really great display of Aaron's training recently. Next up, in our second heat of our Special Olympics athletes, in lane number 1, we'll have Joey Beltran and Damon Rauscher. This will be a really fun heat to watch. Damon is incredibly strong in the legs. I anticipate him being pretty proficient in the yoke. And Joey's extraordinarily athletic, so I'm really looking forward to this heat here. Let's see here as our athletes set up. Wow. And Damon just picks it up like it's nothing. Just so strong. Such a strong young man. And Joey keeping up right with him. This is fantastic. Both finishing nearly at the same pace.
That is very wise for them to finish the yoke, breathe a little bit on their way over. They still got plenty of work to do.
Absolutely. And I was just saying, these guys have been training their butt off over at Dungeon Strength weekly for this contest. And Damon, the first one over the keg, and Joey gets it as well.
Excellent.
Both on the sandbag now. This is a brilliant display of just hard work and practice out of both these guys. I've been watching both of these young guys train for months now for this event, and Damon the first to finish. Or second to finish, pardon me, second to finish. What a great display of power out of Damon. Let's hopefully Joey gets this. Oh, Joey's a little tired now. Let's see if he can get this pick now. He dropped the bag.
He's got a little bit of time.
He could do this. Joey could get this. He's going to have to be patient. He has 15 whole seconds.
Yeah, he's got plenty of power to do it.
He has his coaches there next to help him, and he gets
beautiful,
it.
beautiful.
Joey
Very well
with
done.
the finish. Beautiful. Beautiful display of ability out of both Joey Baker and Damon Rasher. That was awesome. Joey Beltran, pardon me, Joey Beltran. All right, that is the conclusion of our Special Olympics division. That was really exciting to watch. Really, really great display of strength and power out of these athletes. And next on, who do we have next on, Mr. McCarley?
We're going to have Rachel Peterson in lane 1, and in lane 2, we're going to have Nancy Johnson.
Right, and the weights for the Pro-Am middleweight division in this particular event, we're going to feature a 455-pound yoke run, which I'll be honest, is pretty light for that class, so I should be able to sprint that pretty good. And then we'll have a 180 keg into a 200-pound sandbag. Now, what's interesting about this is...
Actually, those weights are a little off.
That's right. That's not the Pro-Am.
There we go. No worries, no worries.
Right here. This is the Pro-Am. Okay, 575 yoke.
There we go.
That sounds more appropriate.
Yeah, there we go.
For middleweight women of 575
Yeah.
in a regional Pro-Am.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's, I mean, the sport for women the bar has risen.
Yeah,
In the last
exponential.
several years, the bar has risen a lot.
Yeah.
I recall 5 years ago, you would see 200-pound men doing this.
With these exact
175-pound men, easily.
Yeah.
Like, this would be a competition weight for 175-pound men.
On a national level.
And now we have women doing this.
Right. Women who are nearly weigh the same in body weight.
Absolutely.
This is incredible. So again, a 575-pound yoke, a 220-pound keg, and a 220-pound keg, and a 225-pound sandbag. Now, what we'll more than likely see, I believe our middleweight women will handle the yoke well enough, and I think they'll handle the keg pretty good. I think that sandbag is when we see a separation between the levels of potential here of athletes. That sandbag is really heavy for a medley carry, load, and run.
Absolutely.
And our first athlete out, we should have 2 athletes out for this division. We should have Rachel Peterson and Nancy Johnson actually be the first 2 out. That is interesting. Now, I know Alicia had an event win just now, so she's doing quite well. So this is going to be very exciting. This will be very exciting. I know Rachel, if memory serves correctly, is quite proficient with kegs.
Absolutely. I mean, it's it's like all of the athletes at this level are proficient with almost everything.
Yeah, with almost everything.
But yes, yeah, she does shine with much of the loading. She's a very solid deadlifter, you know, and she's got a lot of potential in this move, like in this particular event.
Now, interestingly enough, looking at these yoke height differences, you know, Rachel's a taller athlete, so she kind of, you know, there's only so much she could go with in terms of that crossbar height. Nancy opting to go for a much lower one. Nancy is quite proficient with yoke. However, Nancy Johnson, 2 years ago, World's Strongest Woman, a show that she was dominating every event in, broke her leg. She broke her ankle in half under a car yoke. Took 1 year off, came back and won the world title.
Wow.
Nancy is a hell of a competitor in the 73-kilo weight class. So here Nancy is.
That was an interesting technique Nancy was employing, kind of coming through into not staying under tension.
Rocking into the start, if you will, using momentum to her advantage. And you'll see Nancy's going to be a little bit more poignant with her steps, maybe due to previous injuries.
Nice.
But she finishes this quite easily.
Yep, nice and steady.
Rachel is still heading on back with that yoke. Nancy going for that mixed grip there. I'm not the biggest fan of that.
She's going for the load with that.
See,
Yeah,
and that's why you can't extend with that one hand back like that.
Yeah, it's very challenging. I mean, some athletes can get away with it, but you have to be able to. Hey, it is typically a weight that is 70% or less of what you're capable of.
Right.
You know, has to be a weight that you consider to be light.
And that just chewed up some time for her. She has 30 seconds now to Japanese style pick that sandbag and get it to that yoke. I think she could do this.
And Rachel's going for that load with the keg.
Oh, she's fighting. Rachel's fighting over there. She could do this.
You really got to reach deep on that.
Nancy gets there with the sandbag.
Put
Can
it
she get the
nice and
extension?
tight, slip down on her torso a little bit.
Looks like
That's
Nancy's just about there, and she just drops the sandbag.
That is so punishing when that kind of thing happens.
And I fear she's out of time.
And time has expired.
We have Rachel Peterson, who is podiumed at the Amateur Nationals. Nancy Johnson, a world champion. Both cannot finish this. This should show you just how brutal this
is a
event
very brutal event. I'm actually very excited to see the next heat, as well as the men coming up. It's going to be ridiculously hard.
Now, this is incredible here. Now, the next 2 athletes we have is Alicia with an event win going up against the former World's Strongest Woman in this weight class. This is special. Now, Nadia is just coming off of a podium placement at the Arnold Pro Show in England, over in Birmingham, that they had just the other. Me and you were at coaching. You had an athlete take second. I had an athlete take fifth in the women's and third in the men's. So we're well aware of Nadia's abilities. So she's brutally strong, but guess what? Alicia is so athletic. This is an event where she could surprise some people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, this is where people who have that background, let's say D1 athletics, shine. Because they're not going to panic on those splits. They're not going to slow down on the transitions back. So if Alicia's athletic ability can match, just enough strength to finish these heavy loads, we see a little bit of some upsets here.
Now I'm the one that's having hard
Yeah, I know. For those that aren't aware, Zach McCarley coaches Alicia, and this is going to be a hell of a fight here. Now, what's interesting about Nadia's yoke ability, she's either the fastest in the world or not. So here we go. We're getting set up now.
Nice and steady now.
And Nadia's off fast.
Smooth now.
But Nadia drops. Alicia's going to finish first.
Yep,
see, this is what I was talking about
here. Got to manage that energy expenditure. Minimize.
This is what I was saying.
Yep.
You could see an athlete with great athletic ability catch up.
And this is where the event is made or broken. You know,
Alicia going for the better technical pick.
Yeah.
Nadia is faster, but she can't extend with those positions there. Can Alicia beat her on the load? And she
gotta stay.
She just slips up.
Yep.
No.
And that was a hip issue. Her hips came back and lost the pressure in.
And Nadia
it came back
got
down.
the advantage. Wow.
So she's got to regroup mentally, emotionally. That's a really hard thing to endure while you're competing like this.
And now Nadia has the 225 bag. Can she be the only woman to finish? Can Nadia do this?
She's got to stay pressure in. Hips have to stay in.
And Alicia gets it. Nadia finishes. I fear as though Alicia has to get this bag now. She has to go right now. Otherwise, she takes last in the event.
Nope.
Okay, so she just breaks the line
Get a little
to
bit
avoid
of distance.
taking last. Oh, what a heartbreak that was. But it goes to show you
that's a tough one.
Just how difficult this was. You know, Nadia is one of the strongest women on earth, regardless of weight class at this point. And she, I mean, look at her right now. You can see it on her face. This event was brutal.
Absolutely.
But
these are some of the top athletes on the planet, and only one of them finishes.
Right, one. We have, and the current world's strongest woman wasn't one of them. Right, so, you know, Nadia wearing the fatigue on her face here, but, you know, showing the qualities of a champion. You know, she knows how to finish things. That was a brilliant display of middleweight women potential there. That was fantastic.
Absolutely, and you know, these very small variables can also really punish you. You know, Alicia did the work to load that keg, and then just lost a little bit of focus. Hips came back. She lost pressure forward, and the yoke said, nah.
Right.
And just keg came back on the wrong side of the bar.
Heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Heartbreaker.
It was very difficult. She did a great job composing herself, taking a moment, regripping it, loading it, and then advancing in the medley just a little bit more.
Right, so Alicia, so with that, Nadia Stowers will take first. Nancy Johnson will take second because she moved the sandbag further than Alicia. Alicia will take third. Rachel Peterson will take fourth in that event. Really great display of not only their ability, but just how difficult this particular medley is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now we have the middleweight men coming up.
And who's coming up first there?
So, middleweight men, we have Derek Brooks up first with Jesse Campbell. This is going to be a fun one. And, you know, Jesse seems to be a very dynamic athlete, but I know Derek is also he's very swift.
The weirder it is, and the crazier the moving is, he seems to shine.
I completely agree.
Now, I know Derek is just coming off of a major move across the country. He also just had a child. So, you know, those things will come into play in his athletic ability today. But even so, generally speaking, Derek is a monster in moving events and odd object loading. I'm excited for this. I think one of his main abilities that helps him the most in these odd object loading is the fact that Derek, probably including the men's open, at least for most of them, has the strongest hands in this room. Derek has one of the strongest grips I've ever seen.
His grip is wildly strong.
He's stronger than most open class men with grip. It's truly unbelievable. So his ability then to just grab things and bully them, it certainly helps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has that farmer stride. I believe I think he was raised on a farm.
You know, yeah, when I think of him, I think of like he has just fantastic functional strength overall.
Yeah. So, he might not be the most technical guy with things like overhead just yet, but this is where Derek tends to shine. I'm really excited to see that. And I want to see what Jesse Campbell does, because Jesse thoroughly impressed me with his cleans, his dynamic ability. So let's see what we got here.
And Jesse electing to go with a very high pick.
He really did, which means he has confidence in his extension, or he isn't as happy with his yoke ability.
Yeah, so it does look like there's a little unsureness in that yoke.
So just for those who are watching this, that is an 815-pound yoke.
That
for
ain't light.
Pro middleweight men, a 290 keg and a 300 sandbag. 815 was the weight for open class amateur men at nationals 3 years ago. Just to give some perspective here, 815 for a pro-am middleweight division is unbelievable. Jesse Campbell with a brilliant
extension.
Brilliant extension. This guy is so athletic.
Oh, man, that was wonderful.
Okay,
he had me wondering with the yoke. He really had me wondering. Man, you can never count out a pro.
No, you can't.
Then somebody competing at the pro level, you can never count him out.
And he's fighting this very floppy bag. This is the bag that we were referencing before, and it's unfortunate. But these guys are going to have to fight with this thing. It's just folding in half.
Yep, he really has to pick that horizontally, is my opinion.
Yeah.
And if that bar is so high, I would really consider shouldering it. I would have considered shouldering it and then carrying it over.
If you could, and that's actually going to be some of the strategy of my clients still in the show.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the strategies that Alicia was going to go with, with the sandbag.
And it looks like Jesse could not load the sandbag. Derek failed to load the keg.
Yep.
This is brutal. I just see the disappointment on Jesse's face. It's probably an event that he was looking forward to. But again, this is such a punishing. Again, this is open class men weights at nationals right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's. I said it a dozen times, but this is not light. This is not a light competition.
So the next two athletes out, we have Jacob Ferry. Pardon me. No, we have Garrett Payne and Nick Cannell. Now, Garrett just did something really brilliant. He took a wet towel out here. He stepped on it. It's going to give him that much more grip on this floor. And that's a pro mindset right there. That's someone who's, we've seen Garrett compete at shows like Clash and other major 105 shows, and he has experience at this sort of level, and it shows with little moves like that. Nick Cannell is newer. This is actually the first time he's ever competed at a show of this level, and he's still holding his own. Very proud of Nick, the owner of Puget Sound Pizza, one of our main sponsors. Thank you so much, Puget Sound Pizza. But this is going to be brutal.
All right. I'm excited to see Garrett Payne go with this movement. He seems to be a bit of a rising star in the class.
I would agree. In the 105 class, Garrett keeps on getting better and better. Nick Cannell just finishes his first stride on that 25 feet, and Garrett finishes the second.
Excellent. And Nick's working on that yoke. He's nice and steady. There's a little bit of instability in there, but he's fighting it.
So Garrett opted for that mixed grip that we were talking about on that 290 keg. Hopefully he switches here, and he does. He's a little far, though, for that extension. Gotta get close.
He's having trouble pulling it in, keeping those hips in, getting up.
And he gets it.
Good extension.
He needs to finish this sandbag in a timely manner if he wants to remain in the top 5 here, or maintain a position there.
Absolutely. So something people may be noticing is that Garrett is working with gardening gloves on. What's your thought on gardening gloves, and why would someone use them?
Now, I would say anytime, Garrett, can he finish the extension? Can he push
it up there? He's got to push it up.
Can he maintain his position?
Stay with it.
And he does. First athlete to finish. Nick Cannell just fails the keg, unfortunately. Brilliant display of prowess out of Garrett. Now, why would he wear the gloves? Anything that allows you more adhesive stick to the objects you're moving, generally speaking, is going to be very useful when you know, especially it could slip in your hands or even on your body. You can see Garrett here wearing a grip shirt and having sticky gloves. Now, so long as you tape the wrist portion of those gloves so they don't move at all while you're using the odd object, it can be extraordinarily beneficial in just maintaining that traction to pull upwards when you go to extend.
Absolutely, maintaining grip. Yeah, and we've only seen 2 athletes utilize that, and it is something that is allowed in competition most places and in most circumstances, most events. We've seen Mike O'Connor use that, and we've also seen Garrett use that now.
Yeah. Right now, coming up next, we have Jacob Ferry and Melvin, our boy Melvin.
I do want to mention something about Nick in that last heat. When he went to load that keg and didn't quite get it, bailed, came back. When he hopped up, his first words were, how much time? yeah, and I respect that.
Nick is a gamer.
I respect that.
Yeah, Nick's a gamer. He does not play. So now I'm a little unfamiliar with these two athletes and their yoking ability. I can tell you 815 is still 815 at the end of the day. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know Melvin has the back power to pick up that keg. I know he struggles with sandbags, but this is going to be very interesting here. Jacob Ferry in lane 1, Melvin in lane 2.
All right, both athletes off to a nice, smooth start. That's what you want in this kind of event. You want smooth, especially in this portion. Don't burn yourself up early.
Don't sprint that yoke.
Yeah, no,
the
event is made in the load.
Looks like Melvin's opting to drop his belt as well, get the odd objects closer to his body, but he's going for that mixed grip, which, again, I'm not a fan of. It saps the energy.
It's a tough one. It's just, you know, I think it depends on the athlete, and he's doing a great job keeping pressure in.
Great extension.
Very
wow,
good.
Jacob Ferry, very fast with that keg. Can Jacob Ferry, he fell backwards, can he get that keg?
He's got to push those hips in a little bit more on that extension.
Melvin drops the sandbag pick.
He's got to go. He's got to carry it. One of these guys, so you got to move this bag at this point.
You just move it.
Even if you can't get it up to the lap, you got to get like
Jacob Ferry getting poised to load. Can he? Just ran
lost the hips back.
I think he was truly exhausted as well, and Melvin unfortunately cannot pick that bag. He's just having a hard time with the pick of the
tough one. And Melvin, you know, as you mentioned, he's a top 10 OSG.
Yeah.
So that would mean he has taken top 10
in the world. In the world.
Yeah.
Representing Zambia, and unfortunately, you know, one of his greater weaknesses is sandbag picks. It looks as though he's quite fatigued right now, and you know, again, he's a little. Seems like Melvin's a little lightheaded. Hopefully, that's all that is. Hopefully, Melvin did not injure himself. Hopefully, he's just a little low on water or minerals and just got a little lightheaded.
Yeah, absolutely. These events can take it out of you.
Yeah.
You know, they can just suck your will to live right out.
Yeah.
But, you know, we love it.
Yeah, it's a part of the sport, and it only makes the reward that much more for these guys. Now, right now in the next grouping, we have Ben Claridad and Darren Ravito, your boy. Now, I know Ben Claridad, a couple months back, injured his knee on yoke, and I know he's very trepidatious about this event. So I'm hoping Ben just takes it nice and slow and gets the points you need. Darren, I'm sure, is pretty proficient as well at this, so we'll see.
So Darren, in particular, the yoke is going to be the tricky one for him. We've worked a lot on positioning.
So both athletes a little trickier on the yoke.
Yeah, he's had some challenges with this, and he's just got to stay smooth. He needs to learn to not fight the yoke. You can see it having a little bit of roll right there, side to side. And he's really doing a good job fighting for each step.
Yeah, Ben as well now. He's starting to rock.
He's got to take a breath here.
And that rocking occurs when athletes start stepping too wide, creating an oscillation. It looks like Ben made it through okay. He's onto the 300-pound keg.
I kind of like that he picked it in that way so he can just pivot. Some athletes that doesn't work for. Other athletes can really get that done.
I'm a fan of it. I prefer it. Whatever gets you there faster.
He's got to stay with that extension. He's got to keep pulling. That is a scary drop. I'll tell you what, with the concrete and the keg right there, and your feet
very scary.
Sitting between those pins on the yoke.
And the thing is, Ben had the height. He just needs to get closer.
Yeah. So it looks like Darren is elected to, you know, get as far as he can on the yoke. And you know what? That is actually still a really good result for him. He's been working hard on his yoke.
And Ben gets the keg load for huge points. A lot of people didn't even get the load. That's a gamer move. That's an experienced athlete.
Yeah, he's got it. He had to pull it out right there, and he did. He did exactly what he needed to do.
With the classic Ben Claridad walk. The classic move. Oh, you gotta love Ben. You know, he's the owner of Occam Athletics, a fantastic weightlifting club out in Sacramento, California. And his transition to the strongman the last 3 years has been beautiful to see. He genuinely loves the sport.
Oh, that's wonderful to see.
So good for Ben, and good, and wise on Darren for stopping when he knows. You know, this is what I've got. Don't push it any further.
Yeah, I mean, yoke is such a punishing event as well. You know, you mentioned that. You mentioned with Ben, he kind of tweaked his knee a little bit. You know, that's not uncommon to see in this event. Also, you know, we see all kinds of like If you don't maintain proper bracing or you get a little too wild with the yoke, you can see a lot of lower back injuries.
Sure.
You can see some pelvis issues.
Well, arching of the back when that happens usually.
Yeah.
Next on up, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I was just gonna say it's a punishing event.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that I can overstate that.
No, it is brutal. Next on up in lane number 1, we will have Damian Capadoni. In lane number 2, we have Tyler Buxton, a local Pacific Northwest 105. Tyler has been on the edge of being a pro now for 2 years. Just constantly coming in 4th or 5th at Arnold Amateurs or Nationals. He's on the edge of that pro, and I would love to see him get his pro card here this weekend.
Absolutely.
I believe he's not a pro. I hope I'm right in that assessment.
Correct.
So again, a reminder, these weights, it's an 815-pound yoke, a 290-pound keg, and a 300-pound sandbag, all in the span of a short amount of time.
Nice and smooth for both athletes. A little drop on Damian's side.
Tyler Buxton making light work of this yoke.
Very nice, very smooth, very controlled. Seems to have excellent composure.
Now Tyler taking his time, getting the pick. Yeah, there you go, getting the grip that he wants. So he can just sit and load now. Fantastic extension out of Tyler. This might be a great finish. We'll see. He has the floppy bag though. That lane has the floppier bag.
But he's going with a really good technique for that bag.
Yes.
He's intentionally gone with that horizontal grip.
Damian just dropping the keg there.
Stay with
and
it.
Tyler
Very well done.
with by far the
Very well
fastest
done.
finish of the day, at least within his class. Brilliant display out of Tyler Buxton. Now Damian still has time. He's going to want to move that thing.
Yeah, you got to pick, even if it's just a staggered grip.
He's either stopping or getting ready, and he's getting ready.
You just got to go.
He can do this. Come on, Damian.
You got to grip it and rip it.
You only have one opportunity for real.
Yep.
10 seconds, Damian. Move your butt, bud.
You
Whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to.
yes.
This is brilliant display of grit. This is what you do when you know you need every point. What a brilliant display of grit out of Damian Capadoni. That's what it's about.
That's good situational awareness.
Yeah.
That's good.
He knew he wasn't going to load it.
But he had to get it up into the lap position and then advance it, because that will put him ahead of the athletes that get to the keg and then can only move it a couple feet.
Right. With that being said, with athletes needing to recover and come into tomorrow with feeling well, I want to shout out one of our sponsors in Jack Squash Supplements. I also want to shout out Maverick Sports and Spine by Dr. John, our in-team chiropractor. Higher Power Strength. Cerberus Athletics for these beautiful bags. Puget Sound Pizza for making pizza so damn good. Jim Daddy for providing all of the shirts that we're using at this competition, the ones that we're even including as well, these fancy boy shirts.
Very nice.
I also want to shout out the Hay Company as well, which is EPH Hay. Thank you so much, EPH Hay, for providing us this beautiful truck to feature the hay, give us a giant background, and Dungeon Strength. And I guess RP11 for sponsoring the athlete for the highest. I am sponsoring the highest ranking amateur athlete in the Pro-Am divisions.
Nice.
The highest ranking athletes in any of the Pro-Am divisions will get $300 from me for just the highest place.
Hey, hell yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Here we go. In our next heat, we have Dylan Dutcher and Michael Connor. These gentlemen are in first and second in the show.
Yeah, these two are powerful. I'm really impressed with Dylan. I did not,
He's new to me too.
Yeah, it's one of those like remember the name kind of statements. He's coming out here and he's not playing.
No,
he's competing.
I believe he is an amateur. So is Michael Connor, but both of these gentlemen are competing like pros right now. Dylan already running with that keg, great position. He gets to lean back and load.
God, he is.
Oh, Michael Connor with the slip up, unfortunately, at the yoke. No, he needs to load this now.
He's got to gather himself now. He's got to gather himself, and we can see that he's using those gloves.
Dylan with the shoulder.
Yeah,
with the shoulder
is a smart move. That's a good move.
And more than likely, the event win potentially between him and Tyler Buxton. Michael Connor needs to move this at least down there for him to be in the top 4 still. He needs to move that bag.
How many athletes have we had finish at this point?
Two, sir.
Including Dylan.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
So Mike went for the Japanese style in that bag, and that bag is not made for it right now. Yep. He needs to get to the yoke, though. He just needs to get there.
He may be able to flip it in the lap once he gets there, and he's committed to just getting the distance.
I think he's opted to stop. Yep, that is still good points for him.
Still good points.
His athletes haven't finished, so that still might even be 4th, truth be told. So
I think it might be a tie for 3rd, if I remember correctly.
It could be, right? Yeah, it could be. So great work on situational awareness by Mike O'Connor. Great finishes by Dylan Dutcher and Tyler Buxton. That was fantastic.
Absolutely.
How do you think you would have done that as a 105 pro?
No comment.
No comment. So Zach thinks he would have destroyed that, is what that means. And he's too nice to say it, but I'll say it. He probably would have won. Great. All right. Fantastic. All right.
I'm excited to see some 400-pound sandbag go over this damn bar. I'll tell you what.
Dude, so this is, no one's ever finished this. And we've had many amazing pros compete at the Rainier.
It makes
Never
me
been
want to
finished.
try it.
I know. I do not. Not at these weights. I will say this, in the open men's division, the weights that will be featured on this medley will be a 905 yoke and a 350 sandbag and then a 400-pound sandbag. We are not using kegs for the open men. The open men had a bit of a vote. The kegs that we were going to use weren't quite matching, so they opted to have matching sandbags instead.
So that changes this event up just a little bit.
It does. It's not as dynamic because
I agree.
of that.
That's
It is
exactly
still
what I
incredible.
would say.
It's still incredible. It's just not as dynamic. That being said, I'll say this right now. I don't think, I hope I'm wrong, because I like being wrong with stuff like this. I don't think an open class man will be able to load that 400 if they pick it horizontally. I think they need the shoulders.
You want to make a bet?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. What do you want to bet?
Maybe a beer.
Okay, I'll bet you a beer.
Yeah.
I'll bet you a beer. I think at least one will.
Horizontally, okay?
Yeah, wait. So to be clear, pick horizontal.
What I'm saying is no one will finish unless they shoulder it.
Oh. You know, yeah, I don't want to take that bet, actually. No. I'm thinking, this is what I see happening.
What do you think?
I think Zach Price has the endurance to
I think so,
pick
too.
horizontally, shoulder, carry down, load. I think he's going to do both bags like that.
Yeah, that is Connor Gordon's plan as well.
I haven't talked to him about it, but I would think that he seems to have that situational awareness. I think Andrew Clayton's going to do the same.
More than likely.
And I think we may have one to two other athletes.
I think Josh Gregory as well.
Yeah, 1 to 2 other athletes finish.
All right.
I think we're going to have somewhere between 2 and 4 athletes finish, and hopefully we have someone paying attention to that. Grab it!
Go! All right, we have Sturgeon Anderson up next. Sturgeon Anderson will go by himself due to the Brett Thompson pulling out of the show. Again, to remind you of these weights, we have a 905 yoke. We have a 350 sandbag and a 400-pound sandbag. Sturgeon Anderson up in lane number 2.
You know, and when I say 2 to 4, that is not to discount any of these athletes.
No, it's because it's incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it is wildly heavy, wildly challenging, and I don't think that it's actually the weight that is challenging. I think it's the overall amount of work.
I think the conditioning will get them.
Yeah, I think it's the conditioning.
And we have Tyler Buxton's son right behind us. Also, Sturge is opting for a 350 for the shoulder of
Very
both
smart.
bags.
Very
It's a good
smart.
move. Can he do this with 400? He failed the 400.
This is a
now-
gamer move, bro.
I think he's going to want to get distance here. I don't know if Sturge...
He's going to shoulder it.
Okay, I want to see him do it. He'll be the first man to do it, kind of. It is slightly different now.
Yeah, he's taking his time. He walked back. He's not playing with it.
He's getting his air about him. He has 30 seconds now, just under.
Oh, he's got to
20
go.
seconds. He's got to go now.
Time's ticking.
Sturge needs distance. This is...
No.
Okay. So he's opting to 0 on distance on the 400-pound bag. That should still get him some points.
That'll still get him some points. But this field is tough. I do think that you're going to have to get the 400-pound bag out of the back
You need to
to get any more than about 3 points, 4 points.
I agree. You need to get it to the yoke.
Yeah.
In our next grouping, we will have Kenny Nichols in lane number 1. And we will have Andy Nyberg in lane number 2. I want to thank Dungeon again for supplying all the equipment, plates, and yokes included for this event. This is a very challenging event to put on. It requires so many moving pieces, so Shout out to Dunge for bringing all of those moving pieces to do
Yeah,
this.
30,000 pounds of equipment is what was brought from Dungeon Strength.
Wow. All right, here we go. This will be a fun little heat here. All right, Nyberg up fast. Nicholas a little bit more controlled approach. Andy with his first drop. Hopefully his last. He needs to stay focused here. Don't want to rush this.
Yep, there we go. Compose yourself. Get that good pick.
Yeah,
Nice
Kenny's
and
taking his
steady.
time.
I think that's the way to go. You know, take your time. Make sure you get it. Make sure you have enough gas in the tank that when you get back, you know, you can get the 350 with time, and you can get that 400 out of the back.
All right, so Andy needs to load this. He has 20 seconds now.
He could get it. I definitely think he's got the capability, and that's a little low. That's a tough one, and when your arms get under it like that, that is just trouble.
Yeah, it looks like...
It's just trouble. When the sandbag's that heavy, you can't really just grab it with your hands and push it over either. You
Kenny
really
is-
have to get under it and be able to create a force up and over.
Kenny is opting to try to shoulder with the time he has left. I don't know if it's enough time.
Be nice and steady. He's going to get it.
He's walking.
Yep.
Kenny
Nice
is
and
the
steady.
tortoise and the hare approach out here, and he
Very
loads the
smooth.
350. Wow. See, that,
Yep.
that really goes to show you what composure will do for you.
Absolutely. Took a look at the situation, said, you know what? I just need to get this over the bar. I'm going to change up my strategy a little bit. Maybe that's what he planned from the start.
Yeah.
But if he didn't, more power to him. That was a very wise technical decision.
Yeah, that was a great display of technical know-how there by Andy. Or Kenny, pardon me. All right, so in our next heat, we're going to have Mark Sanchez and
Nice.
Nicholas Tokarowski.
All right.
Lane 1 should be Mark Sanchez. Lane 2, Nicholas Tokarowski. And you can see there that Sanchez is prepping that 400-pound bag. I think he's seemingly confident in this. This would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we got spotters and loaders out here getting things all set for the athletes, making sure everything's just right. And this yoke is 900 pounds.
Yeah, 915, I believe, right? 905. 905.
Yeah. That is heavy. That's a heavy yoke.
Here we go. The next group starting now.
This guy's going to be nice and steady. Mark is going with a bit lower pick than Nicholas on this one.
Yeah. I know Mark has incredible strength in his legs. He's probably trusting that.
Yeah.
Because maybe
nice
he
and
knows that
steady.
load will be difficult.
Absolutely, just nice and steady. Bringing it on in.
All right, Sanchez getting his
Nice.
breath about him. So is Nicholas. Mark opting to take off that belt. Mark with a great pick on that 350. Nicholas just getting it up now. Mark really rushed that 350. I think he
Yep.
knows he wanted that split.
Absolutely.
So this is going to be the
Nicholas
test now.
going to the shoulder, very wise.
Can Mark Sanchez?
Now who can move this bag further? Who can load
Oh,
it?
and he's doing a smart thing. He's getting distance.
Yep,
He's
getting some
getting
distance.
distance. He knows.
Absolutely, you got to pick it. You got to go. It's real short time at this point.
It looks as though Mark might be a bit gassed. I mean, again, at the end of the day, this is an incredible load. Yeah, I think Mark might be done. Nicholas trying to get something out of it. And I think he's done too, truth be told. This
Absolutely.
is sapping these poor guys. Great effort out of both these gentlemen, but it really just goes to show you that this is just a brutal, brutal event.
Yeah, and great awareness from Mark, knowing that even though he couldn't get it to the lap, he just needed to pick it up and move it.
Right.
And that put him at least 2 points ahead.
Right, absolutely. Two whole points.
Yep, being willing to advance it in the field. He didn't, it looked like he knew that he was not going to be loading it, but he knew that he needed to advance it in the field.
Right, right. And now we have, and that puts him in first so far at least, right? So now we have Christopher Olive and Joel Alexander. Christopher Olive in lane number 1, Joel Alexander in lane number 2. And also a nice little shout out to Rachel Peterson, who went from competing 10 minutes ago to putting on clothing and now helping run the event.
Yeah.
So a genuine shout out to her for being a real gamer of this competition and helping out support her gym.
Yeah, and her weekend is not over.
No, she's competing
tomorrow as well.
Yeah, she's got to start tomorrow with a nice max squat.
Yeah, it's going to be That's going to be nice. It's going to feel nice on the old legs.
Yeah. I think your battery's dying there.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you.
There's an outlet there. All right, here we go. Christopher Olive in grade number 1. Joel Alexander, lane number 2. Now, Joel is a fantastic yoke runner. I've watched Joel run 900 pounds, 50 feet in 8 seconds.
Ooh,
so
that's fast.
This should be the comfortable portion for him.
Yep.
Now,
gotta manage that energy expenditure and make sure everything's all right.
Now, I know, though, this is where things are going to get spicy for Joel. You know, odd object loading is a lot harder when you're a gentleman with a larger circumference, because then the object is further away from your body.
Absolutely, but he's got a good position here.
He could do this. Joel can do this.
He's got to extend those hips just a little more. Beautiful,
wow.
Beautiful.
What a
beautiful
finish.
Adjustment.
And Christopher Olive shouldering it and getting it over.
Oh, he almost. That
close.
was a little dicey.
That was close.
That was a little dicey, but he got it over. Now they're looking at the 400.
Can move this?
Yep.
Who can move this bag the furthest?
Yeah, they're neck and neck. Let's take a look at what they got. Yeah. Okay, Christopher is saying how much time I got. How much time I got. He's feeling confident.
So Joel is
I think
getting
he's gonna
something.
go to the shoulder. Oh, body says no.
So that is that's a 0 now if he needed to move that. Now Joel will take second place on the event overall of everyone who's gone so far because he got it the second furthest.
Yep.
That's gaming.
No, absolutely. And of the two, I would have picked Christopher to win that heat.
Sure.
But Joel,
He gamed.
he selected the correct strategy. He was aware of what was going on, and just showed up.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic.
That was fantastic. No,
I know that was the event that Joel was most worried about this whole weekend.
Wow. Well, if that was his biggest worry, he did pretty darn good.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, he loves the pressing events, like the log, for example. He's massively looking forward to. I know he's really looking forward to the squat. He's going to squat to over 700 pounds. So he's a bit of a static guy, but that was a great performance. Now we have Connor Gordon and, pardon me, Josh Gregory.
Nice.
Now, I'm very nervous because I coach Connor and I want him to do well. So I'll be internally freaking out. If I'm a little silent, you know why. Oh, Connor's going on his own. Okay, Connor will go on his own.
We may have had
Maybe
a
withdrawal. It's possible. I hope not. But it seems as though, based on who's lined up over there, it looks like maybe Josh Gregory withdrew. Is kind of what? No, yeah. I think Josh Gregory might have withdrew. All right, here we go. Connor Gordon. He needs this. He needs this event.
Get nice and steady.
Yeah, just smooth and steady here. Connor can do this. He just needs to be patient. And then he needs to hustle his ass off on these bags.
Very nice. For the pick. Good extension. Carry-in.
Good adjustment. Good save.
That was an excellent adjustment, actually.
He needs to breathe.
Yep.
Now, his only chance here is to shoulder this.
That was actually an excellent adjustment. When he came up and hit that bar on the front side, I was really concerned he was going to drop it.
I was too. He needed that split. Connor's going to try to shoulder it.
Okay, here we go. I think he's got the strength for it. Again, the question is, like, can you keep that strength while you are compromised in your conditioning?
Right now, he just needs to walk.
Yep, he's just got to get some distance.
He needs to get distance.
Yep, just stay tough in the
He needs
position.
to beat
Squeeze
Joel.
that bag.
He needs to beat Mark Sanchez.
Yep, you got to go. You got to go. And that is the correct way to fall.
So what he did
good.
there,
that is good.
I believe he's now in first for the event.
That looks like he is currently in first.
So great job out of Connor. He knew he didn't have the endurance to shoulder, so he did the next best thing. I'm going to crawl my ass as close as I can to that yoke. And that was a great performance out of Connor.
Absolutely. Could not agree more.
And that'll put him in a good spot. Now we should have Jasper Haney and Zach Price.
Oh man, both of these guys are real good at these kind of events.
And I want to shout out Connor for a moment here. I am biased as his coach, but also Connor had a literal heart attack in preparation for this event last year, and had to spend a whole year getting healthy again to be able to compete here again. So Connor really came through with some perseverance, didn't quit on himself, got healthy, figured out what he needed to do. And, frankly, right now he's in the top 4 and he's kicking some ass.
That's impressive. That's very impressive.
So right now in lane number 1, we will have the beloved Jasper Haney, and in lane number 2, another Pacific Northwesterner in Zach Price. Both gentlemen from the Pacific Northwest. There is a ton of power in the Pacific Northwest, and it's really incredible to see the scene develop even further, starting way back with guys like Grant Higa, then eventually Jesse Marunde, and that just kind of legends going on between Patrick Castelli, Zach McCarley, Aaron Murray, Lucas Hatton. So many legends of the sport coming out of this one spot of the country.
We are definitely blessed to have such lineage in the Pacific Northwest.
Got to shout out Patrick, too. People don't give him enough love.
I give him all my love. I miss that guy.
I know. Well, here we go.
Nice.
How would these gentlemen fare?
Yeah.
So Jasper really carried even too far, if anything, on the yoke.
Yeah, I would agree.
But he's confident. He looks good.
Yeah.
Price also looks good right now.
A real high pick from Jasper and possibly a slide penalty. That's going to be up to the judge. It was kind of right there, but...
All right, so Jasper going for the Japanese style. Zach Price going for the horizontal. Oh, Jasper shouldering. All right, now this is where the money's made.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Gentlemen,
this is where the points are separated.
Let's see here.
Taking a moment to get yourself right.
Jasper going for the Japanese style, and he's successful. Wow.
Yep, he's got to bring those hips in and pop it up.
He's going to shoulder it. He's going to shoulder it. Jasper might do this.
He's got to get that elbow up. He's got to stay in position.
Do this.
He's got to get that lip over. Yes, wow.
Jasper Haney, the first athlete to finish the Rainier medley. Zach Price opting to move it as far as he can, but he just misses out. So Zach now is going to drop some points. Jasper Haney finishes the event. What a beautiful display of grit.
You know, with Jasper, I am seldom surprised.
I know.
But I am often impressed.
He will pull it out of himself whenever he needs to.
Yeah, he's a very talented athlete.
Incredible.
Oh, that's wonderful. First athlete to finish this medley.
Unbelievable. That was so impressive. As of right now, Connor's still in second.
Yeah.
So that waddle of doom has saved his points, and he ended up just taking over Zach in this event. So this is going to be interesting. Now we have 2 remaining athletes in Cody Lindsay, who should be in lane number 1, and Andrew Clayton in lane number 2.
So these are 2 of the, I would say 2 of the 5 that I really think could finish this event in the perfect circumstance.
I think so too. I saw Andrew already chalking up where he likes to put his hand on the bottom position of the 400-pound bag, so he definitely has some confidence here.
I would be surprised if he didn't finish.
As long as he just gets through healthy. That's all, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think he has the power and the skill.
Yeah.
I know yoke, it hasn't been an event in the past that's hurt his knees. So, you know, it's one of those things we're going to see what shape he's sort of in. But if he's chalking up this bag and getting it ready the way he wants, I think Andrew's come correct. I think he's here to party.
Yeah, I hope he's paid enough attention to that 350 bag that's sitting right next to it.
I hope so too, because that bag is mean looking. It's a little soft.
It's a little soft. I completely agree with you.
Here we go.
And I hope he's accounted for that.
Yeah. Okay, Cody Lindsay and Andrew Clayton. Let's see how our boys do.
Beautiful pacing from
both athletes picked a very high yoke height.
Not rushing, but just making the pace right. I think both of these guys already know they're going to be shouldering.
I think so too. All right, let's see how Andrew Clayton does in that 350.
Good horizontal pick.
Okay.
And he's just going to pop it right over. He's plenty strong enough.
Yeah, okay. Can he do this? Cody Lindsay now getting 350.
Load.
Cody Lindsay just gets it over, slightly slower than others, though. So now Cody needs to get this, because that was a slower 350. Andrew's fighting for these positions here. He's fighting.
He's getting his contact nice and low.
Here we go. So this is,
he's got to stay tough.
This is tough now.
Yeah, he's got to get those hips forward.
Andrew Clayton.
That's a tough one.
This is how things swing.
Yep. If
Cody
he can
Lindsay.
advance that a couple more feet, he can take second in this event.
Cody Lindsay, too, drops the bag.
Yep, he knows he's got to pick it up and move it. And so he's going to move it. Yep, that's the way to go. Yep, so long as it's off the ground. And that counts in my book,
and
actually.
And Andrew Clayton is now stealing second place.
Yep.
So look at that. Now Connor Gordon, with just that waddle, took third place. Andrew Clayton, second place. Unfortunately, Cody Lindsay, I think he's in fifth now in that event.
Yeah, and I think that was a real wise move from Andrew to, keep advancing the bag. Obviously, it's more points,
right,
but also the way that he was advancing that, being able to lever it off of the hips, off the thigh.
He's essentially doing a kettlebell swing in a way by hitting it to his body and just hinging his hips, taking most energy out of the muscles in order to do that. Just pure leverage. That was really intelligent by Andrew Clayton.
Absolutely.
That is the conclusion of our day today, of day one at the Rainier Classic for both the novice, amateur, and pro-am divisions. Before I go, I want to do one more quick shout out to all of our sponsors, including Gym Daddy, Puget Sound Pizza, Cerberus, Higher Power and Strength, Jack Squash Supplements, Maverick Sports and Spine by Dr. John, Dungeon RX, and EPH for the Hail Bales. Thank you so much, all of our sponsors. We quite literally cannot do this without you guys, so thank you for supporting us. My name is Alec Jose.
I'm Zach McCarley.
Please tune in tomorrow for our excellent stream. It'll be starting right around the exact same times as today. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.
Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.